Yes, donning my white robe, hoping to get a big endorsement deal as we start today's Friday festivities. Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. The only thing I don't have is more people than many of those living rooms around the country last night during the draft. You want to talk about social distancing and stay-at-home defiance. Did you see some of those places last night?
I know, man.
Now, there was a lot of talent in the rooms.
Well, yeah, but, I'd like to have been hanging at Cliff Kingsbury's joint.
All by himself, sitting there with the big wall of glass.
Dude, that place is fat.
Tile.
He won. He won the night.
That place is fat.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I was thinking, I know exactly where, maybe not the street, but I know Scottsdale, because that's Camelback Mountain in the background.
Right.
He's sitting there. He's got the pool in the back, the perfectly manicured grass.
I'm thinking he
tile.
was like
He's sitting
up
there.
in Troon somewhere.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
right?
nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good Troon
way
knowledge
to go,
there, right?
Robin.
Robin lived in Arizona.
Not bad.
She's been everywhere, man.
I can hang at Troon.
And then you had Joe Burrow, the first pick. He had like 1978 the drapes in the back in his mother's house.
I know, it was like that 70s show.
Exactly.
But I tweeted about that. Like the first thing he's going to do is probably buy his folks a new house and a nice new sectional and a nice recliner and all that.
Can he find that in Cincinnati, though? I mean, well, he's from the area,
yeah,
so it's not like
he's not far from there.
He's not in Troon. He's not living in Arizona.
No, but I mean, that part of the state is very poor, so there's no way that his agent was going to go ahead and buy his parents a brand new setup, because you got to, make that sink into people, like where you're from. Like, look where I came from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that was fun. And you know what? I thought it was pretty good. I liked seeing the families.
Me too.
At home. It's much better than seeing some kid sitting in the waiting room and then they keep showing him.
Yeah.
And he may have his mother or his father or somebody with him. You got to see the whole family. Now, again, I'm not one of these, we should call the police. I bet you somebody sitting at home saw some of those living rooms where there were agents there who weren't supposed to be there. Right? You had agents in these houses.
Yeah, but they're the same people that called the cops on my golf course.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So these people had 20 people in the background, and you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
So if you wanted to be some really woke jackass and call the police and have them go in and
bust up the party.
Pinpoint the location.
That would have been some video.
Exactly.
The cops come to the door while the guy's on the clock and he's waiting to get picked. He's on the phone with the general manager or whatever, and the cops busted.
That would be awesome.
That would have been a great video.
But it was like Jerry Jones' yacht.
Oh,
I mean, that was sweet. What do you think the beam is on that baby?
I don't know, man.
Now you know what the beam is, not the gym beam.
No.
The beam is the width of the boat. That's what it is.
Right. It's the girth.
Yeah, it's
not the length that matters.
Right.
It's the
Well,
width.
the length matters too on a boat, Robin. You could have a long yacht, but if it's not it's the beam. And Jerry's sitting there in the middle, and then his son, and I guess this is his son's wife on the other side.
No, one was his daughter.
Was that his daughter?
Yeah, she was in the shot too.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was only 3, and they were socially distanced.
Yeah. Oh,
you got to give Jerry Jones credit down there.
Yeah.
That was perfect distancing. I bet you had it measured out to 6 feet exactly. So nobody would rip him.
Yeah.
Except the Eagle fans who were upset that Jerry Jones had the audacity to take a guy that fell into his lap.
I'll tell you what.
And how the hell?
It just worked perfectly.
Oh,
for
man.
him.
You know what the best part of the draft is? Every team got the guy they really, really wanted, right? Isn't that what happens every year?
Well,
with a few exceptions.
Yeah, a couple.
But I joked around after the first 10 picks because it was pretty much chalk, except the Giants took an offensive lineman that a lot of people thought.
But they took the wrong one.
They took the wrong one. And then the other idiots online ripping David Gettleman. Listen, I'm not a Giants fan. And David Gettleman's getting ripped, the general manager of the New York Football Giants. He had a mask on and he was by himself. But he wasn't by himself. And here's the other part, and I hate to rip pro football talk. It's not my style. But what kind of nonsense is that? For them to rip David Gettleman and then have the barrage of people following them doing the same thing. What's he wearing a mask for? He's sitting in his house in Jersey. The guy's a cancer survivor. His immune system is
compromised.
Incredibly compromised.
And he had an IT guy sitting in there helping him, and he was thinking of the other guy's health and his health.
Yeah, I didn't rip him. I put it on a tee for Giants fans to rip him. I said David Gettleman has a mask on, alone in his house.
But he
Giants
wasn't
fans
alone,
in
though.
3, 2,
Yeah.
1.
Well, yeah, of course. But they take the cue from the
Right.
media people who want to rip all these guys. It's just like here in Philly.
He had no decorations in his room, though. He looked like he was in like a bonus room
I
of
know.
a new house that he just like bought
I was
yesterday.
expecting
It was weird.
To feel like, because we were talking about how great our little studio is down here,
Yeah.
but we were thinking, okay, whatever they have must be like 10 times better,
His
right?
place didn't look lived in.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
well,
felt
you
really
probably
good.
rent. You don't buy. You know, in New York,
No,
you
it's
can't
true.
afford to buy.
A couple more draft picks like last night, he will be out.
And, you know, even when you go across the river into Jersey,
Yeah.
in like Hoboken,
Right.
it's still expensive as hell.
Sure.
Now,
So
speaking
he's probably ready. Now, Cliff Kingsbury, is he buying or renting? Do you rent that kind of a joint? You got to buy there, right, in Scottsdale?
That
don't know.
place looked like something that a porno crew would rent for
Exactly.
a weekend.
I
I mean,
would
that was
rent that out.
unbelievable.
it was definitely movie quality.
And
Yeah.
he's single, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about the chicks descending upon that area. You know, because Arizona made some good picks.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, the Miami Dolphins.
Simmons fell right into Arizona's lap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
Tony Bruno,
Yes.
speaking
that's
of
me.
being comfortable in the wherever you are broadcasting from,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
people are commenting on your
I know, my robe.
garderobe.
Well, I got this.
It says Sopranos on there. I thought you didn't like the
I
Sopranos.
don't. You know who gave this to me?
Who?
Chris Morales out in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
You know, because he was a Sopranos fan.
Yeah, yeah.
And we worked together. So one Christmas, he bought me a Sopranos white robe.
Wasn't he in the Sopranos?
Yeah, he thinks he's in the Sopranos. He's like a lot of other Italian guys and guys who think they're cool. They dress up. They slick their hair back. Grease balls like that. And they all think, oh, yeah, man, Sopranos.
See, now you can say that.
Yeah, because I'm a grease ball, too.
Right.
Except I'm not a big Soprano fan because I despise mob movies. And I always have. But enough about that.
But you're wearing that robe specifically for a reason.
Am I looking for an endorsement from the Sopranos new movie? I'm not promoting the reboot.
Or Old Spice.
Or Old Spice. Yeah, you saw it last night. Everybody was talking about it. It was one dude sitting at home. You remember that, Harry?
Yeah.
And he had a robe
He had a
on.
robe. Yeah. That had to be.
Specifically a white robe.
Yeah, the same exact robe, except he had Old Spice on.
Right.
Because we were all talking about what are the players going to be wearing? What are the coaches going to be wearing? How is the attire going to be?
Most of them were very casual. Sweats. They all had headphones on.
Right.
You know, and so the women were all dolled up, which was
Sure.
nice. And then Roger Goodell, and by the way, it's not my style to rip the commissioner of the National Hockey League. Well, yeah, him too.
Yeah.
He's the
Although he might have
Sesame.
had a better looking crib.
Right. So you notice I was right. Remember we were taking prop bets on what would Goodell wear in his own basement up in New York?
Yeah.
He came out, no tie, open shirt.
Yeah.
But he had his sport coat on. And
Right.
then you notice he did a wardrobe change like Cher. And then all of a sudden he's wearing a pullover sweater
Yeah.
over his open shirt.
Right.
Ditched the jacket, went casual. But I got to say it, this guy makes a lot of money, Harry. I thought he was the shakiest of anything last night. He looked like he was high, first of all. and again, am I saying I could? Yeah, I could have done it. I'm going to say it. I could have done that draft better than Roger Goodell, and I would have done it for $500.
Right.
For a couple of
$500
hours.
bucks?
Nah, I would have to get more.
Would you have gone to Bronxville, New York, though? Which
I
is
would have
where
done
he
it from
was?
here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
I could have done it from here. And oh, by the way, everybody's talking, what kind of basement do you think Roger Goodell has?
It didn't look that fancy.
Nah,
No.
Our basement, I bet you, and people say he probably has wine collections.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever he did.
Well,
Our basement wine cellar studio blows away Roger Goodell's man cave, whatever the hell that
it
thing's
did.
called.
But my thought is that his main crib is in Manhattan, and he probably has a fat pad in Manhattan. That's up in Westchester County, where he was
That's
last
where
night.
he lives.
I know, but he probably has another place in Manhattan.
You think
I mean,
so?
Oh yeah, the guy makes $40-some million a year. You're going to have an apartment in Manhattan, and it's going to be
expensive.
fat.
You're going to live wherever the hell you want. You're going to
Exactly.
have multiple places.
Yeah, I mean I'm telling you, that was the biggest disappointment. I thought the virtual stuff, I thought Trey Wingo and everybody involved
They did a good job.
when you consider all the electronic stuff that had to
Speaking
go
of
on.
Trey Wingo, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except his nose. What was
What's
going
up
on?
with his nose?
I don't know. I thought he had the COVID or something.
I looked up to see if there was anything on social media,
No
like maybe
snot or anything.
No, it was
Because
just bright red.
It was. It looked like when I got hit with a basketball in high school, and I broke my nose, and
All
it
the
was
blood
like
vessels in
yeah,
there. Yeah.
And it was just sort of. It was a little bit swollen, and it was totally red. what? It looked like he just got whopped in the face.
Yeah, I'll have to find out from Mike Golick because something.
Yeah.
Again, the guy does a great job.
He did a good job.
Although
Yeah.
the Mafia, he had the
Yeah.
Mafia jacket on. Was he trying to outdo Michael Irvin? Nobody outdresses Michael Irvin on draft night,
Where
baby.
was the violin case? I mean, those stripes were wide. They were far apart, man.
Now, Sopranos, yes.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen. Who am I? I'm just another schmuck sitting at home watching this. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was good. though. I thought it came off a lot better than I thought
agree.
it would. Yeah.
I like the fact that the families were at home.
I did too.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Because then you can go and then and every single player had people that had a camera in their room. And I thought that was well done. I want to see the reactions. Although it seemed like the players were finding out after we found out. Did you notice? Because you're waiting,
delay,
and
yeah.
the commissioner makes the announcement, and then you're expecting the people to go crazy, and they're still sitting there like they didn't hear it yet.
Yeah,
So they must be on a delay.
They're
The
a
people
delay.
at home must have been on a delay from what we heard or saw on the air last night.
There were a couple times when Trey Wingo was in. Now look at the reaction when they found out that he was picked by so and so, and you see them. They're just sitting there,
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Henry-
that was a great reaction."
Henry Ruggs did not look excited to be drafted by the Raiders. Did you see him?
Yeah, but I think he was.
He was just sort of sitting
He's the
there like,
first receiver off the board.
I
How can he
know.
not be excited?
Hey, I'm just going by what I'm making observations, Tony.
Well, that's all we can do here, Harry. But maybe he didn't hear it yet. My point is, a lot of these people, we were going crazy at home, or the people who had the bets on it, but they didn't react until a couple of seconds later. So obviously, because I'm waiting for them to pick up a phone. Well, a lot of these dudes were on the phone, especially the one dude who was there, and then
Well, that's C.D. Lamb.
Lamb, like the girl grabbed the phone away. You got to grab the phone away from the side piece. You know what I'm saying? You had this little drama. You had some baby mama drama going
Well,
on there,
maybe
too.
she was thinking it wasn't the commissioner. She was thinking it was somebody else.
How about Mike Vrabel's setup?
I'm still trying. I need an explanation.
I do, too.
Okay? I mean, seriously. First of all, there's a guy on the can.
No, but it wasn't a guy on the can.
It looked like a guy
It
was
did.
sitting on the
It did
toilet
look
with
like
the
there was-
door
It
ajar.
totally looked
It
like
did,
that.
but it wasn't. I did a forensic breakdown
What?
this morning.
What?
Because everybody was saying there's a guy taking a dump in the back room while Mike Vrabel's sitting there with one guy. So he had
I blew it up. I opened it up. I'm like, there was.
he had the guy in one of those Frozone get-ups, with the uniform.
What is that?
It's what they wear down in
Unitard.
Nashville. It's a unitard. So the one guy, if you're looking at TV, said he was on the left. That's a Frozone. Whatever the hell it is.
What does that
It's
mean?
what they do down there in Nashville. I don't know what the hell. And then the other dude had number 50 on, and he looked like he was a reject from the Tiger King because he had like a dyed blonde mullet on and a jersey with number 50 on it. And then here's the coach sitting at his desk.
Right.
And then in the back off to the left, it looks like a guy sitting on a can taking a dump.
With the door ajar.
But it wasn't. It was glass doors that were closed because I watched it. I'd break this film down better than Brian Baldinger does doing a TCU game
Frozone
or a
is
Texas Tech game in the Big 12.
is a superhero who appears in the film The
The Incredibles. That's right.
Okay.
Not Mr. Incredible.
So
not
it's-
Mrs. Incredible.
No, so it's nothing to do with Nashville. It's like it could be anywhere.
And I watched both Incredibles, and I should have known that.
Yeah.
But I knew it was Frozone. But then the guy who was presumably taking a dump was a guy wearing shorts in the other room because I watched that room. It was a glass door.
Yeah.
Nobody has glass doors on their bathrooms, Harry.
Well, you never know.
No, not when you've got a camera in there.
Maybe not in
because I saw
Nashville.
other people walking
I'm
around.
sure some people in California do.
I saw people walking around in that same room. And so the one shot that everybody saw was a guy presumably looked like he was sitting on a toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Because he was wearing shorts. He was dressed.
Yeah, it looks
So
like
I
he
wanna-
was reading on the toilet.
Right now I'm debunking the rumor that in Nashville, Tennessee, a guy was taking a dump. And by the way, did you see what also Mike Vrabel did?
What's that?
He spit out tobacco into a styrofoam cup.
Well, of course.
During that.
I mean, that's what you do. You're dipping,
there
man.
was so many things going on in that one scene. First of all, he lips it out, as you know, Harry,
Yeah.
as someone who used to do the dip,
Yeah,
right?
used to.
When you got it on your lip and it's going to stick on there and you got to lip it out and you can't spit it out now because there's kids around.
Right.
None of these people had masks on. All their families, their kids are crawling all over the place. You
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean-
talk about a coronavirus debacle?
There's the shot right
There's the
there.
Frozone
There's
guy.
the dude that looks like he's on the can
but he's
back
not. Look,
here.
there's a glass door. It's closed.
So it's a reflection is what you're saying. I think it's a reflection coming
Yes.
from in here.
Yeah, it's somebody in behind. And there were way too many people in there. People rip us because we have 5 people in our studio.
Right.
These people had like 50 people in some of these homes. It's a good thing I'm not one of these self-righteous jerks who would have called the cops and had those places raided. But Matt Grover, FTF, says, Cliff Kingsbury's house proves that he and Ryan Gosling are the same person.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good
That's the
good
kind
point.
of house Ryan Gosling would have.
Yeah.
Right? How can he be there alone without chicks all over that place?
Holly Saunders used to hang there. Now she's with Vegas Dave.
I know. It's an outrage. I don't get it, Harry.
I don't either.
I don't get it. Dolphins, Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys, the Eagles. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And it was an offensive tackle kind of night last night, Harry. We'll break it down.
I'm saying you're wrong, Tony.
That person is not on a toilet, Robin.
That is a reflection off of glass. That is a glass hutch, and that is a reflection.
Yeah, the person isn't behind the woman who's sitting on the little.
No, she's not. He's
like over here.
He's like in front of him, and that is a reflection.
And he didn't.
And those are shorts around his ankles.
That's what I thought. He doesn't know that he's being reflected.
Exactly.
In other words,
why would there be a toilet in the middle of a living room?
Hey man,
it's not.
It's like
in
a powder
down
room.
the hallway a little bit, around the corner.
Oh, we got a break here. I have to go back and watch it again in slow motion. I got a Zapruder film this.
He does what you do when you're watching a game and you don't want to miss a play. You got to go to the bathroom. You leave the door open.
He's on the phone and he's not taking a dump. I stand by that. 215-462-TONY is a toll-free number. 215-462-8669. We're coming right back.
Okay, we are dissecting this on Twitch right now.
Because watch, if you see it, there's a person in front of him. You see there's a shirt sleeve. That guy next to him is moving. There are people moving in that shot. When you watch it, you watch the video. That's a still shot. Why would somebody be taking a dump with a guy standing next to him in the bathroom?
So you're saying that this, what I'm showing, can you see my...
Yes, that is a person.
That's a person right there?
Because when I watch the video of that, there are people walking around. How many people do you know when they go into the bathroom on draft night in the war room of the head coach who's spitting chew into a styrofoam cup with a couple of slapdicks standing next to him on either side?
No, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. This this is his family.
Joe Exotic on one side and Frozo on the other side and some chick on a futon. And the guy's taking a dump right in front of her.
They're in their own home.
That's a weak presentation of the Titans banner too. That doesn't even. It's not even.
I know it's a bad step and rinse and repeat, as I like to call it.
It looks like it's a big flag that they just folded over a.
It's an outrage, man. Yeah. I know they're his kids. I'm joking.
See, these are his kids.
could call
They're
them
in their
slapdicks.
own home. They're probably just used to walking around. They're used to walking around in whatever they want and going to the bathroom, leaving the door open, just like you do when you're at home, Tony, and nobody else is around. So he probably just wasn't even thinking. He's like, oh, that's in the other room. He just had to go really bad, and boom, there you go.
Would you let your kids dress like that if you were hosting a draft and the entire nation's watching?
I wouldn't let my kid dress like that, period.
Well, listen, they're grown-ups. They're not like 5-year-olds. Did you see, what's his name, had kids? Who's the one guy who had like 15 kids all over him?
Here's the video right down here in the corner.
All right, play the video. Let's go to the tape.
Well, I can't play it. Where the video is?
It's on Barstool ran. I think Barstool had the
Okay.
video. Everybody had the video, but then everybody see. There's a freeze frame right there. Now watch the movement in there. Watch the movement.
Hold on, let me
Not
find
the bowel
video.
movement.
Okay, here.
This is the guy doing the Frozone thing. Although he's got a little girth in the middle. I can't believe he's not in shape for a teenage kid if he's a son.
Okay, so that's.
Now
let's
watch
see.
the guy in the corner.
I'm trying to find. Hold on. I'm trying to find the video. So it's actually on Barstool.
It's on all over the place, but you have to watch the video.
I have to go.
They're not the only people that had it. They were recording. I was watching it, but I wasn't recording it.
Aren't you hot in that thing, Tony?
No, I like it. It's comfortable. I like the feel of velour, crushed velour. Velour. No, I'm not going to wear it. Okay. I saw the gimp.
There's also a line Step Brothers about that, where John C. Reilly talks about that, and the dad shoots him down. He's like, never done any of that.
I am not finding the video. If you have it, can you send it to me real quick?
Who, me?
No, Harry. The
Yeah.
video portion of it.
Frozone is the guy that the black dude. And I danced with those guys at Disney. Remember, I danced with all the Incredibles. Because Mrs. Incredible had a great ass.
Oh, she did.
Great ass.
Able Titan.
Tebow's Pretzel says, if Harry had a draft room, you'd only see the Lima every 15 minutes to bring him a vodka cran.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, here. I think maybe I did find it. Did I find it now?
Got it?
Here it is. Here's the video. What on earth is my... What site is this? This is USA Today.
Yeah, let me see if it...
Darren Ravel's tweet that I had it.
Reverend Pump. No, that's not a... Shh.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Ah, yes. I'm mad that I Frozone because he was the character in The Incredibles, who was played by Samuel L. Jackson, the brother.
Okay.
He was the brother Incredible.
I don't know any of this.
And then you have Mrs. Incredible. Tiny waist, great butt.
Yeah.
I danced with them at Walt Disney World. Remember,
Oh, yeah?
Robin? I went out there and danced with the entire Incredible family.
Well, who was she? What's her name?
Who? Mrs.
Yeah.
Mrs. Incredible.
No, but I mean the actress.
It was
Somebody in a
cartoon.
suit.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was Holly Hunter that did the voice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the person at Disneyland or Disney World was in a suit. It was somebody dressed in an incredible suit.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was
So
pretty
it's-
incredible.
It's an animated movie.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
exactly.
saying? Oh.
But then they have the lifelike characters that dress up and go to Disneyland
Gotcha.
and pimp the movie and then dance with kids and grown old men like me who go out there and have a couple of pops and then hang out with people at Walt Disney World in the middle, right there in the Tomorrowland. They have a DJ get up there, they crank up the bass, and you get out
We
there
were
and
rocking
you
it,
dance.
Harry.
Look at this line at the wine and spirits store as we speak somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Well, what do you want me to tell you, Harry?
No, I'm just saying.
It's the week. It's the freaking weekend. I'm about to have me some fun.
AJ says he should have brought his damn headphones. Then he could listen to the show while he's waiting in line.
Oh, is he
Screwed
in the
up.
line? So he sent that picture from
Yeah,
the line?
yeah.
Oh, this is actual live. Is there anybody taking a dump in the bush right next to the wine
There's a
and spirits?
reflection on the front glass.
Are people throwing their disposable gloves right outside like they do everywhere else?
I don't know, possibly.
So who sent that picture?
AJ.
Which one?
At Hubba_Hubba
Okay.
on Twitter.
And is that live? That's
a live
fresh.
shot.
So
10
at
minutes
this
ago.
hour, people are standing outside.
Yep.
Tony throws up on the people mover. No, I don't. Come on, man. Does Mrs. Incredible twerk? No, but she has. You know what she has, Harry? A great ass.
We didn't even mention in the Titans, in Mike Vrabel's war room, the guy that was wearing the mullet and the bleach blonde
That's
hair.
what I said. I
Yeah.
said that guy's doing a Joe Exotic
Joe Exotic.
impersonation.
He had
Hello, are you
all
listening, Robin?
Again, here we go.
He had all sorts of things going on.
Now, is he still dating Holly Saunders?
Well,
Cliff
all
Cling?
I know is she's running around with Vegas Dave all
And
over
Vegas
the place.
Dave is a schlub.
Oh,
with
he's
all
a
due
s-
respect.
Yeah, he's a
How would you
scumbag.
leave Cliff Kingsbury if you're Holly Saunders? Again, I don't tell people who to like and not like, but you're Cliff. You got that crib out in Scottsdale.
I think it's more of a reflection on her.
Wow, what happened to her?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow. Yeah, Jerry Jones yacht, though.
Oh.
That was sweet, man. As a guy, as a captain myself, as a man who's been on many big vessels, as a man who's been on with some of the greatest captains on earth, Harry. Except Captain Morgan, because I'm not a big rum guy. But anyway, let's get it back to the draft, Harry.
Well, I thought a lot of stuff was interesting last night. I mean, first of all, with the Giants taking Andrew Thomas
Yep.
instead of Wilfs, that was a shock to me.
Yes, because you know what I always say, because you know who's a great friend of the show?
Kirk Ferentz.
Kirk Ferentz,
Yeah.
the coach of Iowa. You never go wrong when you draft one of those big corn-fed Iowa boys. They don't even have to be from Iowa. Anywhere up there in flyover country.
Illinois,
Yeah.
Nebraska, you
Exactly.
name it.
All them big.
Wisconsin gets them, too.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about that
Right.
part, the farm, the heartland.
Yeah.
Those boys are big, and they can block. And you can't go wrong with an Iowa offensive lineman. And why Iowa had a defensive lineman drafted in the first round, too.
Oh, they did. They got another one coming up here in the second round, too. Is going to be a stud. But then Matt Rule had the choice of Derek Brown or Isaiah Simmons. You basically couldn't go wrong.
Exactly.
I thought he'd take Simmons. He took Brown. So Simmons falls to Arizona. I mean, that player, if you're a defensive coordinator, you got to be just salivating.
Oh, yeah.
You could put that guy all over the field.
You know, the one thing we saw this year in the draft, and it did happen at the very end, the running back position.
Andy Reid.
Yep.
Yeah.
The running back position, not highly coveted.
I
this
thought
year
he'd
in the
take
draft.
Swift, and he took Edwards-Helaire from LSU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously LSU and Ohio State.
Clemson.
Man, Clemson.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Alabama. It's the same, Oklahoma. It's the same 5 or 6 teams.
And, back in the day when you would take players from certain schools, they weren't automatically guaranteed to be studs. But now when you see these kids playing on Saturday, they're like pro players playing at the college level. They're ready to play. When they come out, linemen, defensive linemen, offensive linemen, quarterbacks are still a question mark because they can look good in college and then they come into the pros and it's a whole different ball game, the speed of the game. But when you see defensive backs covering, I'll tell you what, man, everybody was talking about the Detroit Lions trading out of that spot. They got a great player.
Oh, they did.
That kid's incredible, man.
Yeah, he is.
He is going to be good. And they lost, Darius Slay.
And it fills a need, a big-time need.
And he can play multiple positions.
Yep.
He can tackle. I mean, that's one thing about defensive backs. When you see kids in college, they may have great speed. They may be able to cover. They may be able to come in every once in a while in a blitz. But a lot of these guys can't tackle. We're talking about fundamentally. This kid.
Some of them want no part of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, he is definitely
he's
legit.
And then Bruce Arians makes a move up 1 on the board because he wants to get Wilfs is falling. Yeah. And it's like, look, I'm going to go get Tom Brady, somebody to help protect him.
Yep.
He got one of the best players in the draft.
Absolutely.
At 13.
I agree.
Yeah.
And again, here in Philadelphia, it doesn't, and because of the general manager's track record of drafting receivers in the first round, that's why there's all kinds. I would probably say next, although I don't think Giant fans are that angry, they're a little ticked off because there were guys there that were rated above on the offensive line, and there were a lot of great offensive linemen in this draft.
Yeah, I think Thomas might have been, maybe the 3rd or 4th rated guy?
Yeah, it depends
position.
on who's board. But you look at it. 5 of the first 18 picks, Harry, 5 of the first 18 picks were offensive tackles. 4 of them were taken by teams who were interested in Trent Williams.
Oh.
So Trent Williams is still sitting there.
Yeah.
He's got a situation in Washington with the Redskins, and you got all these young guys coming in, and where does this put his value right now?
Well, yeah. I mean,
when these guys are being let's go to a man who understands this as much as anybody else, which is pretty much nothing. I'm just kidding. It is the great Seth Everett. Seth?
My boys, how are you?
Good.
What's up, Seth?
Dave Gettleman. Are you ripping him about the mask or about the draft pick? If you were
no, the mask, scared people because they thought he had it, and he has some autoimmune issues.
Exactly.
I don't blame him for doing it. And look, my story was going to be that I was going to tell you guys is about Adam Gase, because now I'm covering the Jets these days, and I haven't met Adam Gase yet because we've been in quarantine since it happened.
I didn't even see his setup last night. Where the hell was he?
No, but he was at a house, and we 2 years ago renovated our upstairs, and the contractor that did it did Adam Gase's house.
Oh.
So this is where my brain is at. All I did was texted the contractor, and I said, man, your handiwork's right on ESPN.
Wow. Well, who was the one guy that had his walls blown out? And it was a nice setup, but I didn't think the work was that good. I could have done it for half that.
Well, the thing was trending on Twitter yesterday was, would Roger Goodell be wearing pants? That was the question.
No, the question I had, would he wear a tie? And I said, no, he's going to go open collar.
No, but you notice he changed?
Yeah, he went into the sweater.
He had a wardrobe change.
He saw Harry wears a sweater vest every day.
Fleece.
Fleece, yes.
Fleece.
Here's the question. Did he run upstairs to change, or did someone bring it to him?
I don't know, but
somebody brought it to him.
I ripped him earlier, Seth, and I'm not one that does that kind of stuff, but how did he botch the reboot and the mulligan that was given to Vegas? Was it like a surprise to him?
Yeah, he said the wrong year.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But this isn't like – this is the guy who's one of the highest paid executives in the country. And he says, Las Vegas, we didn't forget you. We're going to give you a mulligan, and you're going to host the 2020 draft. Now, listen, we all slip and make the – but he never even – didn't somebody get in his ear? The same person who's telling him, hey, you're on camera now?
It's going to be the 2022
maybe the guy that
draft,
was in his ear is the same guy who ran the horse broadcast that couldn't figure out hardwired internet.
Yeah, maybe he was getting bad information, maybe.
It's an outrage.
Yeah.
But it's going to be 2022. It's not next year. It's not 2021.
Next year's Cleveland, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2022. Vegas will get the NFL draft. And that was one of the stories that was actually newsworthy during the draft, other than the picks, obviously, which was certainly newsworthy. So Adam Gase, the Jets, was Adam Gase, you didn't see him, were his eyes popping out of his head when you saw him?
That's why I want to meet him. So I took this gig, and then the quarantine started, so I have not been there. I have a 20-year relationship with the franchise. I met my wife because of the franchise.
Because of the Jets?
Yeah, I met her in the press box at the old Giant Stadium.
Wait a minute, man. I don't know if I have to give you one of those already today now. Do we?
No, I mean, it's 20 years ago. I mean, it's lasted a long time.
No, I'm not ripping his wife or the fact.
It's a good relationship.
It is a good relationship. But, hey, you know what? You never know where you're going to find that one.
That's right.
Even in a press box amongst weaselly reporters.
Well, there's those weaselly reporters. She was 23 and blonde and came over to me because I had a Syracuse shirt on and looked at me, and those guys said, get it out of your head, you got no shot. And I'm not going to do it on the air, but I'll give Tony, if you want, I'll give you the names because you know all those reporters.
I don't need names. Are they all Syracuse guys? Because that's pretty much who's in all the media press boxes now.
No, New York media guys were like, you got no shot. Don't even try. And I literally got her phone number just for spite.
Well, let me give you a roaring round of applause instead.
That's what he needs.
Normally, when I see somebody wearing a Syracuse sweatshirt, I get as far away as I can. Even Andrew Siciliano, my former partner, I don't want to be around him sometimes.
That's my boy.
He's my boy, too, man.
He graduated with me.
You went the same year?
Yeah, 96. He was one of my dearest friends.
Now, I am wearing a robe today, and people are like, why is Tony wearing a white robe with the Sopranos?
Oh, because of that player?
Exactly, that player. Come on, man.
Yeah, which player was it? Because I forget.
I lost track.
I know two.
Ruggs, whatever his name is.
Yeah, the kid from Alabama, the first receiver taken.
Yeah.
By the Raiders, that kid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs the third.
I know Tua got up and he showed the inside of his coat. He had some kind of design and stuff in there. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there it is. Ruggs. Robe-clad Ruggs.
And by the way, for people who think it was Old Spice promoted it, but Old Spice put up money for a cause to benefit all 32 teams. So it wasn't like his personal endorsement deal. Because remember, we saw Buffalo Wild Wings,
Joe Burrow's house, yeah.
Joe Burrow had Buffalo Wild Wings. And then who was the other guy that had an endorsement deal? Somebody else had an endorsement deal with, Gillette. One of the players had a deal with Gillette. And they did a video.
Nobody was doing sponsorships now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these guys are already pros. They got agents. Their agents were all hanging out in their homes. Did you see them
Gillette
last night?
was Mims, and he didn't get selected yet.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
Denzel
right.
Mims.
Denzel Mims from
Baylor.
From Baylor, who's going to be selected today. There's Old Spice. And they got Sopranos. You make the call, Harry. Old Spice or Sopranos, which one of the robes?
I got to go
wear?
Sopranos.
Exactly, man. You know how much I can get for this right now on the open market?
And it was to call attention to the company's $320,000 donation to United Way on behalf of the rookies from all 32 NFL teams.
Yeah,
so it was a good spot.
That's a nice deal. And I don't care if these guys get endorsements. Many of the colleges they go to, the smaller ones, they're not getting paid like the guys who go to the big college, like the Alabama guys.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about anything. The Ohio State guys, they don't have to worry about it. Seth Everett joins us now. So, are you going to be there for rounds 2 and 3 tonight, Seth?
In my quarantine, yeah, sure, I'll be there. It's compromise, and I understand, but all I'm thinking about are the people who are dealing with clinical depression and mental illness that are stuck in their homes and no sports. This is a night of entertainment, so they did a great job.
By the way, I have breaking news on the Cliff Kingsbury front.
Yeah.
He bought that home in Arizona a year ago. Guess what the actual retail price is? Now, have you seen that? It's got a big fire pit where the pool is outside, columns.
$3.5 million.
No, $4.45 million. This is Scottsdale, Harry.
Well, $3.5.
That house in L.A. would be $15 million.
Yeah.
And Scottsdale ain't exactly cheap real estate either. That's a hell of a deal right there, man. Why didn't I see that house? It's an outrage. I'm sorry, I had to get that update from Darren Lavelle.
Seth, what do the Jets have tonight? How many picks? Do they have any picks in the second round? And if they do,
have 1 in the second and 2 in the third.
Okay,
They'll
so
be busy.
possibility of 3 players. Who do you think they have their eyes on? If they have to come away with one guy, who do you think it is?
It's wide receiver. They wanted a wide receiver in the first, but they knew that if any one of the 4 offensive linemen were available, they were taking him. So Becton fell in their lap because he had a drug test flagged, and 2 teams bailed on him, and they're dumb because the guy's a mountain.
Yeah.
And now they're going to get their wide receiver, and I think they like that kid Claypool from Notre Dame, and they're on their way. And then they'll get another offensive lineman in the 3rd round, and then they'll start to look at defensive line. You know, they flirted with Clowney, and I don't think they want to do it. And what they're hoping is that they can find another defensive line because, you know, they traded Leonard Williams, so that was a strength last year, and I think it's not going to be a strength this year.
We're talking draft, New York, New Jersey, Tri-State, Metropolitan, Connecticut, Chevy dealers.
Yeah, I think
bringing you Seth Everett.
I think the Jets got the better offensive lineman than the Giants.
Yeah, I mean that's what people are
Thomas
criticizing.
was the guy the Jets were supposed to get stuck with. That was the rumor, was that at 11 you're getting stuck with Thomas, and the fact that it's the Giants just makes me laugh because that turns into Capo Caco and Nico Heishier and Jack Hughes. That's a hockey
Say that
reference.
fast 5 times.
Capo Caco, I love that name.
I had some of that the other night. It's keto friendly too. That's the best
He's
part.
on the-
Robin
he's
had
on
the rest.
And that's what we have in common. We all 3 of us hate the Rangers. So
Right.
we're good.
I don't hate the Rangers. I just don't.
I
root
do.
For them.
I hate the Rangers.
Yeah.
I hate the Flyers too, but I hate the Rangers more.
Do you hate the Devils? No, you're a Devils fan.
No, I'm a
aren't you?
Devils guy.
I hate to do it to you, man. I got to give you one of those.
He lives in North Jersey. What do you mean?
Why do you have to root for the Devils?
I moved here the same day they did.
And so you have to root for them? I moved to L.A. I didn't become a Laker fan.
Wait, I was 8 years old. Of course I became a Devils fan.
Oh, you're that guy.
He grew up with Martin Brodeur, man.
So did
Greatest
I.
of all time. Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time. Come on, man. What's the matter?
Martin Brodeur is the greatest of all time.
Oh, you can argue it, but no, come on, man.
Please.
He's cleaning the screen,
I have
and he's
to.
hitting the bike.
I was an accident. Seth, it's always great to talk to you, man. Stay safe up there in North Jersey. You know, that's the epicenter. New York,
Yes.
Northern New Jersey and New York City.
Yeah, we have a guy across the street has it. 3 houses down, a husband and a wife have it, and we are walking distance from a hospital that has 680 cases. We are taking this very seriously.
Yeah, be careful. Just don't run into Chris Cuomo riding a bike out there, all right? Don't ride out there because you could get into a fist fight with the guy, and I don't want to see that happen, man.
Why would Chris Cuomo be in North
He's in the
Jersey?
Hamptons.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
joking. It's a joke.
Yeah, okay.
That's the guy you went with?
Well, I can't think of anybody else who's
I
been
was going
great.
to say, don't walk near Adam Gase and have him gaze at you.
Does he live in North Jersey?
Yes, he does.
I-
We just told you the contractor story.
I know, but still, that's just a rental. It's like Gettleman. You think he lived in that house longer than 6 months? Did you see that joint? You
I
rent.
hope he's
When you
rent- I
live in the
hope he's
New York,
renting.
when you live in the New York, New Jersey area, you rent. You don't buy. Especially if you're a coach for the New York Giants or the New York Jets. Hey, Seth, always great to talk to you, man. Thanks for checking in,
See
brother.
you guys. Stay
See you,
safe.
Seth.
The great Seth Everett joining us from Northern New Jersey. And that is, man, it's sad up there.
And thanks for hosting our Twitch show on his channel.
Oh, we're doing a Twitch switch?
Yeah, he's hosting us right now,
Beautiful,
so
man.
we appreciate
What,
it.
is he doing a show on Twitch right now, too?
Absolutely.
is.
The
Yes,
great
he is.
Seth Everett. Come on, man.
God.
He's everywhere.
Yes, he is. There's a great cigar shop near the Devils. You know who owns the Devils. That's why I'm not a Devil fan. The
Well,
Sixers owners.
sure.
Same
Joshua
guys who own
Harris,
Joshua
yeah.
Harris and
And that
Michael
group,
Rubin and those guys. How can I root for the Devils? Scott Stevens? You serious right
They
now?
all-
He was a great player. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, he's one of those guys that everybody hated
They
unless he was on
also
their team.
they also own Crystal Palace over in England, the soccer
Great
team.
soccer knowledge right there. Harry. Meanwhile, here in Philadelphia, it's the epicenter of hate, Harry. Now, we haven't really discussed this a lot. Your thoughts on the pick? Because last night we're sitting
Jalen
there.
Reagor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you watch his video, and I watched the tape that they put together on this channel called Stadium, and they put together highlights from kids and all different players with
Right.
different games. One of the games had our good buddy Brian Baldinger was doing the color because he does
He does a lot of Big 12
Big
games.
12
yeah.
games. Obviously, Tim Brando does Big 12 games. So
'Cause
you're
of
seeing
Fox.
You're
Yeah.
seeing him against Oklahoma. So you can see him against some like really bad teams.
Sure.
I think the game Baldy was doing was like a school I never even heard of. So they play bad. They play smaller colleges too, Texas Tech and TCU. Those schools they play a tough schedule. The Big 12, and while the Big 12 is not, considered as good as, the SEC.
Well, defensively, it gets a knock because everybody's wide open in the Big 12.
Well, so
that's the knock.
Have you seen the Pac-12?
Well, yeah, I don't really watch the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 guys are wide open, and then you take guys like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside thinking he's going to beat everybody in the NFL, and he can't catch the damn ball and can't get anything close to him.
That's Howie. See, the problem is that Howie's track record of drafting wide receivers is not good.
You're absolutely right.
So immediately,
and listen, there's nothing wrong with the fan base second guessing because that's what fans do.
See, now if they would have taken that guy Rager, if Jefferson was off the board, I think people would be a lot more comfortable with it. But the fact that Jefferson was sitting there for the taking, and he's a guy who would have been a much safer pick. But he plays slot generally, and I think they wanted a home run hitter they could put on the outside to make big plays.
And he can also return punts.
Right.
And he's spectacular. By the way, everybody's talking about he can't catch because he had drops last year, and I watched the video of him.
Dropped about 9.8% of his passes.
Did you see the quarterback who was throwing?
He was terrible.
I mean, he had wide open multiple games, including against Oklahoma. He was wide open. And so the year before that, because I have his numbers, 72 catches, 1,061 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2018. Last year, with a horrible quarterback, 611 yards, 43 catches, 5 touchdowns. And then he had some drops. He had a fumble punt, too, which he picked up in return for a touchdown, a la Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, he's got home run hitting ability.
Yeah, and so when people talk about his 40 speed, his 4.7.
It was 4.7, but they say he's better in pads. He's quicker on the field when he's in uniform.
I know a couple of women like that, but hey, you got to have you got to be you have to have versatility. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I don't hate the pick.
I don't hate the pick either.
If it was me, I would have taken Jefferson, but I'm not Howie Roseman.
But you know what the argument there? Slot receiver. How many more slot receivers do you need to draft?
Well, they lost Aguilar.
Unlike Aguilar. Yeah. To me, if you're a receiver, you can line up anywhere. He's got to play in the slot. Did he just play in it? Well, now, Jefferson did play 98% of his snaps in the slot.
Right, at LSU.
Exactly.
And he's super productive. He catches anything close to him.
I agree. He's phenomenal.
And he's 6'3", you know.
You can't teach height, Harry. These are our draft breakdowns you're not getting anywhere else. Not even Mel Kiper Jr. is giving you that.
I just retweeted a tweet from Bren Burrows. I missed this last night. You are going to laugh your ass off.
Well, hold it right there when we come back. We'll take your calls. 215-462-TONY. You call right now. Any kind of draft questions you have. You want to know who's going to be the 88th pick? We have the answers for you right here. It's Tony and Harry, Miss Robin, the whole gang. It's Friday. Yes, we're going to pour a couple of cold ones later on. And maybe some vodka, too. Stick around for that.
Look at this.
Where's the
I
tree?
did not notice this. This is a great catch. This guy goes, thanks to my brother-in-law at JD78. Check out this gem.
Is that to do with his shirt?
That meme is all over the place.
Wait.
So somebody posted a meme of a dead porn star?
That dead porn star. That meme it's behind
Oh, no freaking way.
Yeah, how did they pick out the 12 people that were supposed to be in those boxes?
I don't know, but that is freaking awesome.
Now, who just posted that? Who just posted that?
At Bren Burrows. I retweeted it.
Okay, I want to see that. Because, the saddest one was the one that somebody caught the picture of the Charger fans, and they couldn't find enough people to fill 12 boxes.
That's sad.
Wow.
Seth was good.
Yeah,
he's always good. So I just saw that he hosted, so I just contacted him. I'm like, hey, come on the show. Tim Brando got back to you, by the way.
He did?
He was out doing honey-do lists for his wife. He goes, 40 years of marriage, man, I got to do what she asked me to do. So he's outside. Did you still want to try to get him on?
If we can get him on now, but
it would only be for 5 minutes. Let's
hold him over. We can get him on next week when we'll break it down.
Okay.
When we do our full report cards. We only have partial report cards right now. Was that Embiid playing with kids? That's House of Highlights stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
He's been out of prison. I think they let him out a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
didn't they? Oh, they left. Okay.
Oh, no. He was out, and then he had to go into a 14-day quarantine.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness gracious! It is just all there and hanging out, isn't it? Can I show that?
Wardy Gilbert, better known as Wood.
Was anybody really paying attention? There were 12 people. There were 12 screens behind the commissioner.
That is fantastic.
Wow.
Not Rudy Gobert.
Mike Gill tweeted how Rager went off against.
He did go off.
Yeah, but everybody goes off against WVU. That was
I don't know
the
about
guy's
that.
point.
I don't know about that.
News story.
Who will the Bengals take with the first pick tonight, Harry, in round 2?
I don't know.
How about that?
Perhaps that Espinosa or whatever, the Iowa defensive lineman, maybe.
I don't. Well, the best available, supposedly, according to Mel Kiper, is McKinney.
Oh, from Alabama, the safety. Yeah,
201-pound safety.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
All right, getting a lot of feedback all over the place on Twitter, in the speakers that were a little loud. Maybe you caught that. And also on the Twitch stream. Everybody following us on Twitch. They're very, very active on Twitch today, Harry.
Oh, yeah. That's good, though.
It is good. Xavier McKinney, we're talking about with the first pick tonight in round 2 of the NFL draft. They always have, the best available. And I got to give all the draft experts credit last night. Mm-hmm. Because, they put up the players' names. And a lot of times, like, the guy comes out of nowhere. Now, like the guy the Giants picked, he didn't come out of nowhere. Everybody knew who the top offensive linemen were. The question was he the best offensive lineman available at that spot? And that could be debated.
Well, that's sort of was debated last year with Gettleman about value. You know what I'm saying? It's like, could you have gotten this same player later kind of thing?
Exactly.
So.
And then you had the kid from Camden who got drafted at the center position.
Oh, from Michigan.
Yes, the Michigan center.
He went to New Orleans, I believe.
The Saints took him, absolutely. Great pick. Mm-hmm. Another great. I mean, the other thing that's great about the draft is that you see the real stories of what these kids do, what they went through.
Some of them were really sad.
Oh,
though. Like last night, there must have been like 3 or 4 in a row, which were like almost tearjerkers.
Yeah,
I'm like that. Enough of this.
Yeah, Cesar Ruiz.
Where the mother just passed away.
Yeah. Sister who had the anemia and the blood transfusion.
And died, and then he names his daughter after his sister.
Yeah, those are that's to show you that these are human beings.
Yeah.
We look at them as athletes, and I'm going to have him in my fantasy
and they're
team.
going to make millions of dollars.
Right, but the Ruiz
the kid that was homeless.
Yeah,
for a long
Cesar
time.
Ruiz.
Oof.
And his dad. Remember his dad rolled on the floor after he was picked, the one kid in that living room? Man.
That's what I like to see. Is the family just goes crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe they should stop doing these. They should do the draft like this every year, Harry.
That's what I'm saying.
I like it.
It was actually, it went off without a hitch, really.
Because normally when they're there, they can only bring maybe their mother or dad.
And they're not all there. A lot of them don't go.
Mm-hmm.
They just take except the one thing that they did change is the Heisman. Remember they used to have like 8 people there, and everybody knew that 7 of them had no shot,
right?
And they had to sit there knowing they were going to.
Now they whittle it down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, they take 3, and then last year I think they only had 2 guys there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that the kid from Cesar Ruiz, he grew up in Camden, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, and he's the center at Michigan who did a great job with the hombres. Michigan Wolverines.
Now, there might be a center taken tonight. In fact, I think he will get taken tonight in the 2nd or 3rd round from Temple. Matt Hennessy. And the Eagles, that would be a nice pick for them.
Jason Kelce getting older?
Well, this is his last year, I think, Kelce.
Well, that's what they all say.
Well.
And so, Cincinnati right now, you're looking at positions of need. you look at the guy out there that we're talking about that they supposedly the best available. He's a safety or a defensive back. But then you got another big guy who's the best fit, which is a 6'6", 311-pound guy from Boise State University.
Oh, the offensive tackle.
Ezra Cleveland.
Yeah.
Ezra Cleveland is out there.
Right.
And so it's amazing how the world changes. Remember, running backs used to be, we got to get a running back. And some years there's a lot of running backs.
Yeah.
But you're seeing more and more teams reluctant to use a first-round pick on a running back.
No, I know.
Last night, only one guy, the last player picked, one of the last players, and it was Andy Reid's guy. Yeah.
Yeah, now Swift will get taken early tonight. Dobbins from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
The kid, Antoine Winfield Jr. from Minnesota, is a hell of a player. He's another safety that'll go sometime tonight. Gross Matos from Penn State and Epinesa are the two defensive ends from the Big Ten, Iowa and Penn State. They'll go tonight, too.
Let's go to a man who knows his football and probably knows more about the draft than Daniel Jeremiah. It's Jeff, better known as Play Action Real out there. Jeff, what's going on? How did your mock draft turn out?
What up, Tony? What up, Harry?
What's going on?
Hey, what up, Miss Robin?
Well, it's not What Up Wednesday, man.
What up?
It's a football Friday.
Hey, nobody knows what day it is, Tony.
Well, you're right about that. I know it's Friday. I can feel it.
You know, I'm in Arizona. I'm like the only Texans fan that exists. So, like, everybody looks at me like, what is your team doing? And I just hang my head. And I think now they just feel bad for me. People at work are buying me drinks and like, hey, we're so sorry Hopkins is gone. And so that's what I'm dealing with. We got nobody in the first round we picked. We got the 40th pick. I'm surprised O'Brien didn't even trade it away.
Well, they extended their left tackle today, right?
Yeah, Tunsil just got up for 3 more years and is now the highest paid lineman in the National Football League history. So Jeremy Tunsil, they had to pay him. You know, and as I mentioned earlier, the situation with the Redskins, and they got an offensive lineman who wants to hold out and wants to get paid, and nobody has made a move to even try to get him as a veteran guy who's supposed to be one of the best, right?
Do you think Tunsil's celebrating with one of those bongs today?
He better be having it. He better have a bong rip out there.
Is that how they extended him? They bought him a new bong mask? What do they call that, a mask?
I don't know what that's called. That was unbelievable.
He was into masks before we all had to wear them, Harry. I'll tell you that right now. So have you been to Cliff Kingsbury's pad out there in Scottsdale, man? He needed some company. If I was out there, if I was in Scottsdale, I would have been hanging out in the living room. I would have been 20 feet away from him and wouldn't have bothered him at all.
Gas mask
Are you
bomb.
kidding me?
That's
My
what it's
wife
called.
is trying to leave me for the guy.
I don't blame her. Hello.
Wait a minute. Are you ripping Jeff Play Action Real, Robin?
Not at all.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying something fantastic about that beautiful house.
Damn. I almost bought a house like that once in Sedona. Remember, Robin?
Yeah,
Robin and I looked at a house in
There's
Sedona.
Tunsil up there, right there.
There's the gas mask
The
bomb.
gas mask
They sell
bomb.
those here on South Street, right next to Condom Kingdom.
Oh,
if
they
you're in
do?
the Philadelphia area, yes. In every, I bet you Tommy Chong is selling those like 2 for 1 right now. If you go on his website.
Wow.
There was a guy who actually fell in the draft because of marijuana this year.
Yeah, the offensive tackle that the Jets got.
How the hell
can
you drop in the draft in this? I mean, how long ago was Warren Sapp and that debacle? I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he dropped in the draft, and the Jet fans, I remember it vividly. I was there in Madison Square Garden. We won Sapp. We won Sapp. And that's when they took Kyle Brady, if I'm not mistaken, that year.
Is that right?
Remember the tight end from Penn State?
Yeah, sure.
And the fans went nuts. But then again, Jets fans
always
go nuts.
Now, we got to figure out if this picture behind Goodell.
Yes.
That included.
Hey, Jeff, appreciate the call, man.
Thanks
Be
for the
careful
call.
out there, man.
That included Wardy Jobert, better known as Wood. The meme that has been everywhere ever since coronavirus.
Now, which
hit.
team was this in the background?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking it looks like it might be the Cardinals. It looks like a Cardinal logo.
Or a Niner. I mean, what
no,
is that?
that's a Cardinal logo.
Okay, you're right. It is the Arizona Cardinals.
And the guy in the lower portion looks like he's wearing a Cardinals jersey.
Okay. So what they did last night, and I don't know how they picked the people to be in the 12 separate screens behind Roger Goodell, being the fans for that team and cheering.
Right.
But in the Arizona Cardinal, now which pick was it?
well, I guess this was when they got Simmons.
It's the center square, Tony.
It is like the center square.
Yeah, he's like Paul Lynde.
Exactly,
Yeah.
except there's only certain resemblances to Paul Lynde.
Right.
Or preferences to Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
But how does that get on a monitor somewhere?
I don't know if it's real. It might have just been
Did somebody
photoshopped in.
Photoshop?
It might have been photoshopped in afterwards. I don't know. But either way, it's
it might
pretty
be.
awesome.
I think it might have been on there because I looked up, and a lot of people are tweeting it and saying that it was.
Yeah.
That it's photoshopped?
No,
No,
that
that's
it was
real.
actually
I'm getting
there.
all kinds of conflicting reports here now.
But just so that you know, if you're watching it on Twitch, I do have it censored.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
Just for those people who it might not be safe. Although everybody's working from home, so nobody's looking over your shoulder unless it's your kids, maybe. But
People are saying no. Jason SC2000 says no, it's fake. He's on the NFL book too. What NFL book? I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. It's probably fake.
It's got to be.
I would probably.
I would hope it's
I
fake.
would think that whoever's in the
I
control
would hope
room,
it's real,
whoever's
but
in the
it's
control
probably
room,
fake.
Remember, now there's got to be a director in the control room
Yeah.
who sets up
Somewhere.
the 12 people on their live shots
It's-
from their homes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, it's hard to keep track of all that, Tony. There's a lot going on, man.
Why couldn't the San Diego Chargers get a couple of the pictures of
I
that
know, they
guy?
could have
and
four
put him
or
up there?
five Wardy
You know any
Jobears
hot
in
women
there.
and porn stars live out down in that part of the Orange County, down in San Diego?
And that guy's no longer living.
I know. How do you
Yeah,
put
yeah.
a dead dude up there?
Hey, he lives on in infamy.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I would think so. Good Lord.
see, that's what happens when we have so much time on our hands.
I know.
And we go on the internet, and we got to post memes,
Yeah.
and we got to doctor things.
This is what happens when there's no live sports, Tony.
There's not even a 2 Live crew anymore doing concerts.
I know.
We got to watch them virtually now. Wow.
When we come back,
I'm
we
ready
will
for
still be
this.
taking your calls. Lines are open.
Yes.
If you have any comments,
and Ron
questions.
Jaworski will join us.
I'm ready
Yes.
for the second round.
And then Dan Patrick will join us later in the show.
Phone number is 215-462-TONY. That's 215-462-8669.
We got a lot of other stuff I got to get off my chest today on a Friday, Harry. We got Hennessy in here and we got vodka. We have to make a tough call today. Who's number one on your board, Harry? The vodka or the Hennessy on a Friday?
Oh, that would be Stateside or Tito's. It's
We
gonna
have to
come
go a little hen dog
I need
today.
to watch more film.
We'll break it down and come back into the next hour. Tony, Harry, Miss Robin, the whole gang. Stick around.
Whoops. I'm going to have to be incredibly careful today if I imbibe at all because woo-wee, last week was 2 sips and
That
I
is-
was a Ghana.
It is fake news, Harry. It is fake news.
Okay.
I got this one guy
Brendan Burrs from Lansdale out there in Montgomery County.
from my golf club that is obsessed with that meme. He sends everyone.
I've never even seen that meme.
Dude, look at this one. This is E.T.
How did I miss those?
Oh, my gosh. By the way, everybody on Twitch, are you all sharing the show on all your social media? It is amazing what a difference it makes for our Twitch chat room if you share it on social media so people know that this is where you go. If you want to be involved in the Twitch chat room, you have to go to Twitch to get, because the guys, I mean, they sometimes are able to glance at Twitter, but they don't have time for all the other social media sites to stay on the chat room. So Twitch is it, yo. Oh, wait. Let me see. That's a good one. God, I almost feel like putting it up in the house. Can we get an electric dispenser just so that soap dispenser just so we can do that too? Um, 91 Sixers. I just posted on classmates.com. Okay, that works for us too. Play Action Reel says, I'm even sharing it on LinkedIn. Beautiful.
Dude, you see the guy that was in the Chernobyl Diaries has died at age 52? It wasn't. It was COVID-19. It wasn't the nuclear stuff from Chernobyl. I'm sure that's what they're going to say. It could have been the radiation.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Ah, yes, indeed. It is a Friday. It's day 2 of the NFL Draft. Why is Tony wearing a sensei robe? Has the wine cellar become a dojo? No, it's not a sensei. It's a Sopranos robe because I'm channeling my NFL Draft ensemble. Not wearing a mask, having too many people in the same place. My agent's not here because I fired him a long time ago. But Harry is checking out some. I never saw that meme, and I have to give myself one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could have avoided it. Is my point.
Well,
I mean, it's not like I'm looking for this. I get this stuff sent to me. I've got 1 or 2 guys on a text chain that are obsessed with it.
It is about as shocking that he didn't see it as the fact that you have never set a foot in Walmart.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable, man. Now, we got all kinds of updates. We have more draft coverage. Ron Jaworski, a man who's been involved with the draft many, many years, formerly ESPN, knows his football inside and out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get his opinions, not just on the Eagles draft, but on what happened. Quarterbacks. Ron was a quarterback, understands quarterback play, and all the other good stuff that happened last night.
And we also have one really quick thing that we should talk about is the fan name. We made a decision.
Oh, it's final?
It's a final.
It is a final now.
It's a final, Tim Cates.
It is a final now.
And we apologize to AJ in San Antonio, but he said, fair is fair. The people spoke, even though there was no way for us to have weighed his vote that much more to make Fan Antonio win.
Yeah. It would have looked like the fix was it.
It would have been.
And this is not politics where people manipulate votes, disenfranchise people, have people vote in and mail it in, and all the other things that they do when it comes to the skullduggery that is political dirty play. Skullduggery.
That's one of Krause's words.
Is that one of your words?
Yeah, skullduggery.
I love skullduggery. I met her in Vegas the last time it was open when I was there. But anyway, AJ's vote does not count as 4 votes, even though he's in Texas.
Even if it had counted as 4 votes, it still would not have made up the difference.
So what is the winner? Bruno's big-ass fan?
That is the
winner, ladies and gentlemen.
By leaps and bounds.
So BBAF.
He won fair and square. I mean, he captured the majority of the vote. Mm-hmm. He had...
Well, he ran a good campaign, Tony.
Yes, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
And he didn't even have to leave his basement.
Right. There was no negative ads.
He and Joe Biden were in the same basement. And I believe the fact that they were able to stay down there and stay safe brought him home across the finish line with 38% of the vote counted.
That's pretty significant.
It is.
Yeah.
You get 38% of the vote, Harry.
Right. You're doing something right.
Exactly right.
So the BBAF is currently on. And
it's oscillating.
It's oscillating.
But AJ, who lives in Texas, in San Antonio, he said Fan Antonio, however, did get more votes than Beto O'Rourke.
Oh.
So that's, at least now we know the rest of the story.
Okay.
And he lives in Texas,
and
so he can talk
say
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
I can't make comments about politics in other states. I only rip my own people. Meanwhile...
Did he get more than Ted Cruz, too, a few years ago?
No, Ted Cruz won, Harry. Come on.
No, Cruz, he ran for president, though.
Oh, yeah, Ted Cruz was out.
Got knocked out.
So did like 16 other guys.
Well, I know.
But enough about that. Let's move on back to the phones because Ron Jaworski is going to join us in our next segment, right?
Yes.
Let's go down the shore, as they say here. And I don't know why. Because it's not really down. You're going across. You're going due east. I don't understand how down is due east, Harry. When you go due east, do you go down? You go across, don't you?
You go across, yeah.
John, why is it that people say down the shore when no one goes down when you have to go either east or west to the shore?
I don't know. I love saying that, though. Go down the shore. Just combine it all into one word.
I think it should be banned. I think it should be removed from the lexicon because it's fraudulent. It's not accurate. You only go down the shore like if you live in Alabama or Mississippi or Georgia and you head straight down or straight across to the Atlantic or straight down to the Gulf. Right? Texas, you go down to the Gulf. California, you go out to the Pacific. Mexico, you go to the Gulf or the Pacific. The East Coast, you're going east. The Atlantic Ocean is east of us, not south of
You're
us.
just realizing this now?
No, I knew, but I
You've
know.
probably been saying down the shore all your
I never
life.
said down the shore.
No?
No. I said under the boardwalk.
Oh, okay.
I was more specific.
You did good work under the boardwalk.
Hey, some of my best work ever. Believe me, hey. Believe me. All right, now go ahead. Go ahead, John.
So I wanted to give my amateur draft evaluation.
Well, that's what we're here. Well, normally we only allow professional callers in, but we'll let you slip through today, man.
It's Amateur Friday.
Well, we love the amateurs. They need talent. They need some finances too, Harry.
Absolutely.
So personally, I love a wide receiver that can take the top off of defense, because who doesn't love a man that can take the top off of something?
Well, I mean, come on, man. You come to the right place for that.
I love it, but I love those sayings that they say, like in basketball, and it's like the guy's got insane wingspan, and in football, it's like I want a guy that can take the top off of defense, and I want a guy that can set the edge. I love a DN that can set the edge.
You got to set the edge.
Yeah, and also catch radius for a wide receiver too. I love that term. Yeah.
And another thing about the wide receivers, I love a wide receiver that can keep a defensive coordinator on his toes, kind of like a midget at a peep show.
Well, hey.
But can he get off a press coverage?
I just want a guy who can go up and get vertical and get the ball and want the ball and go up. By the way, this kid Rieger, he really, if you watch him when he's running patterns, even though he's not tall, he knows how to. He can maneuver himself in position to follow the ball. He tracks the ball really well for a guy who's not a 6'3" guy.
Ball skills.
Yeah, I mean, he tracks it. It's all about tracking the ball, and a lot of receivers that they have no idea where it's going. And if you get a quarterback who puts it near a guy, and obviously, like the kid, the yacht kid, Ayuk
from Arizona State.
And who coached him out there, right?
Herm Edwards.
Exactly.
We got to get him on. I was thinking about him the other day.
Love Herm Edwards. And that kid Ayuk, you watch his video. I mean, the kid looks like an octopus, man.
Yeah.
His arms are gigantic, 81 inches.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about the other guy.
That's
the guy
star.
Wood.
Yeah,
not
Wood.
him. His vertical is strong, and so is his horizontal and vertical. He can go either way, Harry, depending on.
I don't know.
Depending on the move.
You can go either way when you're a master ball tracker.
Exactly right, man. And he can return punts.
Well, here's the other one, John. High point the ball.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, you go up and get it at its highest point, and I love a receiver.
I only know the High Point Racket Club. That's the only thing I know. I don't know anything about high pointing the ball. Come on, Aaron.
Yeah, a couple of the writers this week, guys, I've noticed, have put in all their articles about wide receivers, guys that play above the rim. I thought that was a basketball thing. Now it's a football thing too. I can't even keep up.
I know. No, you're right. I love that stuff.
I do too.
Yeah.
And it's always good that we keep coming up with new, fresher ones. We move on from the previous stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. Agree.
All right, well, be careful out there, man. It's the weekend. It's the freaking weekend. Make sure you stay in line. Get the weed, get the booze, get the weed, get whatever you need, and stay safe, because we are not all in this together. Just remember that.
Thanks, guys. I love it. And my favorite place is back open for the takeouts, and they got Tito's and packages, too. So I'll be enjoying that this weekend.
There you go,
exactly what I'm talking about. We're not, it's not our fault that people are drinking excessively during the coronavirus.
What else are you going to do?
Let's remember what the motto of this show is, Harry, especially in these trying times.
If we're going to die, let us die drunk, at least.
Exactly.
If we're going to die, let us die drunk, at least.
You can get that T-shirt.
And you can get that. The T-shirt is actually selling more than any other T-shirt on our site right now. If you're going to die drunk, let us die drunk, at least.
Exactly.
And that is available now on TonyBrunoShow.com.
Beautiful. And they're quality items, Clark.
Yes, they are. Pre-shrunk.
Get them for the
Fruit
entire
of the
event.
Loom, right? It's a Fruit of the Loom.
Well, it's the same brand, but it doesn't say Fruit of the Loom. I forget
Are these knockoffs from China, like all the masks?
No, they're pre-shrunk. They're really, really, really nice, soft.
Quality items.
Quality
That's
items.
what I'm saying. Beautiful. Meanwhile, we're talking, a lot of talk about wide receivers. No doubt. Wide receiver position is the glamour position in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Is there any doubt about it? It is the glamour position. It's the position that everybody
outside
has.
a quarterback.
Well, yeah, the quarterback's not glamour. Quarterback touches the ball every single snap. Quarterback's the premium position. wide receiver is the glamour position. Now, good running backs, too, but you saw the running. Now, a lot of running backs are going to start coming off the board, but it was not a heavy first round. In fact, there was only one running back taken in the entire first round.
Was there was a prop bet on that too, wasn't there? That we talked about with Philly Godfather.
Well, the one that
there was a prop
lock.
bet on Swift being taken in the first round, and then there was an over/under on running backs. I thought of.
I didn't see that one, but obviously the one that the guy laid $4,000 to win 1,000 was a lock.
4 quarterbacks.
4 quarterbacks going in over 3.5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. But 4 won it.
Yeah, and 4 won it. And how many quarterbacks won the first round?
4.
Exactly right. So, in other words, are you cashing that ticket today?
I think you're cashing it.
Not trashing it, as my boy Jody Mack used to say at the track.
When Green Bay traded up to select Love, that was 4.
Exactly right.
Right there.
You were hanging right there. You were waiting for that. It was like watching an NBA game where you have the over.
Yeah.
And that the clock's running down and you get that bad beat going on. You want that one basket if you have the over.
Right, and once you cash, you turn it off.
Yeah, but then you don't get it. You're waiting for it. They run out. The ball goes out of bounds, and they inbound, and the clock's ticking down. All you want is one garbage basket. That's all you want.
We had a night like that out in Vegas. Remember Scott Farrell and you and me? And that was the Denver Nuggets, and they screwed me, Tony.
They screwed me, too. You never bet on NBA games when you're drunk in Las Vegas and it's late at night and it's still a West Coast game and you can still play it because it starts at 7:30 out there, which is 10:30 in the East. You just want that one last fix, Harry. You know what I mean?
That's right. Now I'm getting word here on Twitter from J.W. Bausch. He says, tell Tony that the Jersey Shore is more south than east from Philly. Cape May is almost due south.
I know Cape May is.
Yeah, well.
But if you look at the bird flies, when you fly in.
The crow.
Or the crow, the bird, whatever, the eagle. You look out, when you fly into Philadelphia and you come up the coast, from Florida, wherever, and you're still flying over.
Yeah.
You know what the airplane does? It makes a left-hand turn at Atlantic City. It turns in, actually like near Brigantine, and it starts turning, and it comes due west.
And then all of a sudden you're over Cherry Hill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how is it south if the planes come in from due east?
I don't know.
So please, I may not know math, but I know geography. And I know the schifozos at the Jersey Shore very, very well. Coming up, you know who's going to join us?
Jaws.
Jaws, baby. Jaws. Robin, why do you have a picture of me in the grotto?
That was Footlong Foals on Twitter says, hey, Tony, can you break out this outfit the next time?
I still have that pajama
yes,
set.
you do.
Do you?
Yes. Oh, you kidding me? It's collectible from the grotto in the Playboy Man. That's no longer there, Harry.
I think you finally got rid of those
shoes.
man sandals.
Oh, my God.
That looks coming back.
That was very questionable.
Should not have gotten rid of those. Those are coming back this summer. I can feel it.
Really? You're bringing those back?
No.
Everything comes back, Harry.
No, he's not.
I'm bringing sexy back, too. Ron Jaworski joins us next. Stick around.
Oh, wait, we can get rid of the censored box now. Nothing censored there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in the grotto. Look at that sexy man.
Look at the water right there. I almost had my toe in the water. I almost dipped it in the water, Harry.
Are you drinking a vodka Gran? Is that a vodka Cran?
Absolutely, it's a vodka Cran.
It's still.
You think I just started drinking vodka Cran when I met Harry?
It's too pink, though.
No, it's not.
According to Harry, it is. The fact that you can actually see that it's a color.
The best part is look at the chicks. They're all sitting next to me, and they're all like looking at me like, dude, who's this asshole?
Like, what are those shoes?
Yeah, it's the shoes.
Yeah.
What made you decide to wear those shoes instead of just at least regular flip-flops? What the hell were you thinking?
Those aren't flip-flops. Those are soled sandals with an open toe.
She's saying they should be flip-flops.
They should be. Like, if you had been wearing flip-flops, it would have been fine.
Do you see what the bitches are wearing in there? They're not wearing flip-flops. They're wearing those strap things that go all the way up their legs.
They're wearing high heels.
They're girls.
Yeah.
They're wearing those shoes that have, like, the strings that go all the way up their legs.
How the hell is the Roman sandals?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there is one chick who finally gave up, and she's just wearing stocking feet.
Yeah.
I learned from several Playboys when we went there. She said they all told me, they're like, when you come for the event and you're all dressed up, don't wear regular spike heels.
Well, you lose those usually later in the night anyway.
Find yourself some wedges, some high-heeled wedges, because there's so much grass and there's no cement. It's just all those big stones with grass in between it, and you sink if you're wearing regular. That's probably why that one chick she just took her shoes off.
She was a veteran.
So I did. I found myself some sexy high-heeled wedges, and I was fine for the entire night.
So about 90 seconds when we come back before you have Ron.
Okay.
Joe's calling him at 20. Well, calling him at 18:30.
No, Tony doesn't even have Roman sandals.
I've got Roman pills, though. I mean, got those from the dad with the long hair and the son.
Tell me when you want me to break out the vodka.
Not yet.
Joe Quills, I've had TVG on all day. Twitch? Is that?
There's a picture from Harry's divorce papers checking in on Twitter.
I'm just replying to him.
Will Harry Mays be bringing back this figure during the lockdown?
He said no. That was my Francesa period.
Yeah, you were bulked up there.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You were going all Mike Francesa on us.
How long ago was that?
That was.
Was I working you then? Was that
No,
the kitchen bar?
That was.
No, because he was thin back then.
That was. We were over at the cricket club for that senior PGA Tour event, and I was interviewing Tom Watson when they took that picture.
Dude.
He was standing off to my right. That must have been like 2014, 2015, something like that. It's at least 5-6 years ago.
It's all a blur to me now. I can't remember years.
I don't remember you being heavy, though, when you were working with Tony. It was after Tony, right?
Yeah.
It was because you were so depressed that Tony left. Clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, that's what happened.
Oh, yeah. It was all a result of
postpartum depression.
The management.
Oh, Jesus. Look at this Eric Cohen did. Anonymous sources claim Jalen Rager is a good guy. That's Tolly. Remember, he used to say, well, not only a great player, but a good guy.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Now, we're in our second hour of broadcasting excellence here, and the question has popped up several times on the Twitch and Twitter feeds on when is the appropriate time to pop open the afternoon refreshments, libations. First of all, we're going to have an ice run.
Yeah. I would say...
And we don't have any limes, do we, Robin? How do we keep forgetting limes?
I have lemons, though.
Yeah.
You don't use lemons in vodka.
Waste of time.
It is.
It's
Who needs all that garnish? Seriously.
It's like parsley.
Yeah, it just gets
You know
in
what
the
they
way.
say about parsley, right? No, that's a joke. I don't think I can tell that.
Well, I mean, we're going to have Dan on at 5:20, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Would he frown upon that? Do we wait until the last segment?
Oh. Well, we should, just for my sake, and so I don't embarrass myself again.
Like
we
you
should
did
wait.
last Friday?
Yeah, you're flagged already.
We should wait until the last segment.
You're done.
Because I don't want to imbibe too early with this keto thing where only 2 sips and I'm done for.
No, it does. Robin read up on it. If you're on a keto diet and you don't drink any alcohol when you have your first drink.
And it was unexpected. It was like, I only had like 2 sips. What the heck is going on?
So, guys, if you can find a woman on a keto diet.
There you go.
Go out on a date when you're able to go out again and go into an establishment. Mm-hmm. And you can get her wasted on 1 drink alone, man.
Not
you know,
even.
depending upon where you go, because you know how expensive drinks are now.
Order up a cauliflower crust pizza and 1 cocktail, and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Russell Haas says, I started with nachos and Dos Equis at 10:30 this morning. It's a good start. It's like Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah, I think most of our audience has been imbibing for hours.
Well,
not just our audience. I think pretty much everybody who's home.
Adley Stump yesterday on that video informed us that it was
10 o'clock.
okay 10 a.m.
Yeah, exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to a man who never drinks, even at his golf courses, which I believe are still shuttered in New Jersey and vicinity. He was watching the draft last night. He was not in one of the 12 screens when they showed the Philadelphia Eagles pick. He, of course, is the great Ron Jaworski. Jaws, how are you, man?
Tony, always a pleasure being on your show. It's always the highlight of my week and my year to be with you, and especially after day one of the NFL draft.
You're reading that exactly as I read it and sent it to you earlier this morning, Jaws.
You trained me well, Tony.
I can see you got the email, Tony.
Wait, last time I saw Ron, we were at the Super Bowl at his great cigar party up there on the roof deck. What a great party. We were smoking cigars and drinking some quality product, Ron.
Yes, it was, once again, Coach Ditka and I host a cigar party at the Super Bowl every year. Can't wait to be in Tampa again this year. We raise money for our individual foundations, and it was the most successful cigar party we've had of the 11 that we've had. So we appreciate your support. We look forward to doing it again next year.
But that roof deck on that bill, what was the name of the building there in Miami Beach?
Oh, man, I can't remember yesterday anymore, but it was spectacular.
You go up in the
Miami
elevator.
Bay.
Yeah, I mean, it was spectacular. I mean, it looked like Cliff Kingsbury would have been excited with that. He would have said, wow.
I wish I could take credit for being the guy that did the site surveying. I had nothing to do with it. So that's probably why it was so beautiful.
It was.
It was called the Paramount.
The Paramount building.
The synapses aren't what they used to be, Tony, but it was the Paramount, a fantastic facility. Great condos there, and boy, the pools and the services were outstanding.
Phenomenal stuff.
And we always appreciate you stopping by and adding some levity to the event.
Well, I just come there for the drinks and just meet the
cigars, right? Yeah, to meet all the people.
And then to see Steve Levy and all the other ESPN folk that I run into. People from every network. Everybody's at the party.
It is. It's kind of amazing, and there's always these people in the media that go to all the parties and they talk about who's there. And after we left Miami, I was reading some of the articles. They said there were more celebrities at the Ditka Jaws cigar party than any party during the Super Bowl week.
Absolutely,
so
you're absolutely right.
Cool. Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's true because a lot of these parties get a couple of guys in there, and then they stand around for an hour and says, "I'm getting the hell out of here," and they leave. These people didn't want to leave your party.
No, we have too much fun, Tony.
Even Robin didn't want to leave. She was pissed when they shut us down, and at least they didn't throw us out like a lot of places do.
Well, it was 4 in the morning.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah. Ron Jaworski. All right, Ron, you watched the draft. You've been around. You know all the quarterbacks are off the board. It was going crazy. Before we get to the Eagles pick, and obviously that's a local flavor, but Tua going exactly where a lot of people thought they would. Did that surprise you that he went that? I mean, everybody knew Burrow was the one, but Miami was supposed to be making moves, wheeling and dealing, and they weren't going to take him. They were going to trade down and get a whole bunch of picks. Did that surprise you at all?
None whatsoever. I thought Tua was the guy the Dolphins had targeted all along, that they would do whatever they could to get him. It was pretty clear that Joe Burrow was going to go number one, and if we'd be having this conversation a year ago, I probably would have said that Tua was the best quarterback in the draft, but the injury certainly set him back, and I think that, that was about the only concern about his game. And you know what we love to do this time of year when we look at all these young quarterbacks, and what people always ask me is, well, who does he remind you of? And you try to come up with somebody that had a great career, and you study and say, yeah, it reminds me of this guy. But clearly, what I thought Tua and a number of other guys that do this for a living, analyze the quarterbacks and break them down, the comparison was to Drew Brees. And normally it's kind of a flippant kind of comparison, but I really believe in this one. To me, that's a pretty strong comparison when I think of the career Drew Brees has had, and I'm saying Tua reminds me of him, but he has that same kind of skill set. Outstanding vision, anticipation, sees the field with great clarity, just enough mobility to move around and open up some windows and passing lanes, and pinpoint accuracy. So that's kind of the most overlooked aspect of a quarterback. Can he be accurate on a repetitive basis? He doesn't have a gun like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, but his arm is just like Drew Brees. Good enough.
One of the quarterbacks that didn't get a whole lot of discussion, at least not as much as Tua and, of course, Burrow, was Herbert. He goes to the Chargers at 6. I wanted you to give me your take on the fit there with the Chargers. And then what did you think of the move up the board a little bit by the Packers to take Love out of Utah State when they've got Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I do have some concerns about Herbert. To me, he's one of those guys with a high ceiling and a low floor, and that means boom or bust. When I looked at his tape, I did not see the repetitive accuracy. And as I said a moment ago, I think that's a critical part of the evaluation. Some guys, you can put a highlight reel together, and wow, you look at 20 or 30 throws, and you go, oh, yeah, he can make all the throws. But you have to look at hundreds of throws, and when you look at hundreds of throws, what I saw was a guy that missed too many gimmies, too many easy throws. And that's why I was concerned about Herbert, even as a first-round pick. I think he's got a big upside. He gets coached really hard and coached really well, and the mechanics get more consistent. I think the ceiling is there. He can really, he can really take off. But I think he had, in my opinion, a little bit of a boom or bust, on his resume to me via my film study. You mentioned Jordan Love, and I think it's pretty clear the Green Bay Packers loved him. They moved up to get him. They believe, Aaron Rodgers is getting at the end of the road at 37 years old, and I think when Favre was drafted, Favre was like 35 maybe when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. So you can see the Packers are looking down the road, and hopefully they can make a smooth transition from Rodgers to Love. It wasn't really smooth from Favre to Rodgers, but they had two talented quarterbacks.
Yeah, the thing that Harry mentioned, of course, in the first, that they took him in the first round, and so that's going to anger Aaron Rodgers. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback, and this kid's going to have to sit there. Mahomes sat for a year. He's going to sit 1 or 2 years.
I know,
Why
but
would Aaron Rodgers have a problem?
Well,
with
it doesn't help Aaron Rodgers win games this year. That's all. That's my.
Well, yeah, I think that's the way people look at it. Well, they should have, they got a wide receiver. They should have helped Aaron. Yada yada yada. But I think clearly when you get a guy and within an organization that you feel is the guy, you've got to do what you've got to do. And they moved up to get him. They feel that they can make another transition to a decade-long quarterback. I'm hopeful and confident Aaron Rodgers will accept this and he'll work with the guy, not like Brett Favre just kind of kicked Aaron Rodgers to the side and said, hey, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about me and my job. I've always kind of felt a little bit different in this. When I came in the league with the Los Angeles Rams, there was a quarterback there by the name of John Hadle. And John Hadle accepted me and helped me and worked with me to become a better quarterback. And I pushed that down the road probably 14, 15 years when the Eagles drafted Randall Cunningham to eventually replace me. And the lessons I learned from John Hadle were the lessons that I taught Randall Cunningham. I embraced him. I knew he was going to be the guy of the future, and I worked with him. And I think it had a positive effect on his career. So it'll be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers responds to Jordan Love when you consider how Brett Favre treated him.
Yeah, and you look at what happened. I mean, they weren't first-round picks, but the litany of quarterbacks that, Aaron Rodgers has had a bunch of guys up there who could have been the next guy if something happened and he got hurt. And most of the guys they brought in there, when Aaron Rodgers was out of the game, even for a few plays, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, they've had guys there, second, third-round picks that got opportunities. But, when you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. As we hear it 100 times, it's a not-for-long league. So when you get that opportunity, you have to take advantage of it, or teams move on rather quickly. And, we're gonna see how Love will play out. I mean, I like the fact that he's not going to be forced to play. He can sit back, and he mentioned Patrick Mahomes behind an Alex Smith. And I don't know if there's a better guy around to understanding of the quarterback position than Andy Reid. Andy has, worked with quarterbacks, developed quarterbacks, and he's done an outstanding job with them. So, we'll see how this plays out. But I thought Mahomes sitting for a year helped him understand the mentality of the NFL, what big boy football is. It's a huge transition from the college game to the National Football League, and I like when the pressure is taken off a young player to have to perform in that rookie year.
Ron, C.D. Lamb fell right into Jera's lap last night on the yacht.
Guys, I'm in Philly. I was crying.
I'll tell you what, that's a pretty dynamic offense they're putting together.
Yeah, man, you talk about the greatest show on turf. Dick Vermeil's the Rams in '99-2000. That may be in jeopardy right now. And as I'm watching the draft, and being in Philadelphia, I'm very familiar with what the Eagles want to do, and everyone's asking what's going to happen. And I'm looking at, I said, there's really three wide receivers that I would call the first tier of wide receivers, which Lambs and Ruggs and Judy, I thought of them at top 10 guys. And all of a sudden I'm watching this draft. I'm saying, I know the Eagles want to get a guy. I know they like 3 or 4 guys in that second tier of first-round picks. But I'm going, CeeDee Lamb's dropping. I mean, he's dropping. Could he go all the way to 21? Then I'm looking, I see Dallas at 17. Then I see Atlanta there at 16. I'm going, oh, Howie's got to be on the phone. He's got to be trying. Howie Rosen, GM, loves the wheel and deal. He's damn good at it. I'm thinking he is not going to let CeeDee Lamb drop to the Dallas Cowboys. He couldn't make the deal. He drops to the Cowboys, and I went, oh, my goodness, what an offensive machine they are going to have. I mean, 2 proficient wide receivers, arguably the best running back in Ezekiel Elliott, a solid offensive line. Dak Prescott will throw for over 5,000 yards this year, and he eventually will get that big contract. If the Cowboys can probably play just a little bit of defense, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
And that hurts for me to say that.
No, I hear you. You're absolutely right, Ryan. The thing that bugs me, and because I'm guessing like everybody else, I'm not a draft expert. I watch football forever. But the bottom line is that the assumption is because the Eagles moved ahead to get Dallas Goedert a few years ago and kept them from going to the Cowboys, that's something that has to happen every single year. I know you try, and apparently he tried, but this is the thing that I want to get your take on this, because when they tried to move up, according to Howie Roseman, that they didn't get any bites from the people who are the teams that were ahead of the Cowboys, and therefore they couldn't make a deal. But if that's the case, then so you're basically admitting that you wouldn't have taken the guy you did if you didn't drop, and if you didn't get the pick you wanted, so you then just had to settle for Rager.
Well, it's always going to be, I mean, that's how, Joe Sixpack is going to look at it. Everyone thinks CeeDee Lamb was there. You got to do everything you can to get him. Well, it worked with Dallas Goedert. It doesn't work all the time. And we all now know, and Tony, you and I have been doing radio shows since the late 70s. I don't want to date ourselves, but we have seen how this league evolves all the time, year to year, decade to decade. And I just think now it is so important to hit on these draft choices. You've got to hit on the draft picks to build your football team. Then when you build your team and you have a couple holes, then you go the free agency route. Howie Roseman, he wheeled and dealed to get Carson Wentz. I mean, that was one of the all-time deals of all time to get to that spot and get the guy he had targeted. Moved from like 12 to 7 to 3 to 1. And Howie's, now Howie has that reputation, and rightfully so, because he gets very antsy when he's sitting around not making a deal. I love that part about him. He's always trying to make his football team better. But I just think in this situation, he probably would have had to give up too much to get in that position.
Hey, Ron, how surprised were you when Jefferson is sitting there on the board and the Eagles took Rager instead?
I was surprised. I thought Jefferson would be the guy. And like I said, there were you had Ayuk in that group.
Mm-hmm.
There were some guys. Obviously with Jefferson in there, there were some guys. As I said, the second tier of the first round. There were 4 or 5 guys that, what do you like, chocolate or vanilla? Strawberry or Neapolitan. It depends what you like. And I thought that Jefferson, to me, was the more polished guy of that whole group.
Safer pick.
A safer pick, yeah. And then everyone's got reasons why. Well, he only played in the slot, didn't play outside. I think that's a bunch of crap. If a guy can run routes, catch the football, and be one-on-one coverage, I don't care where you line him up, inside, outside, motion, Z, slot, hip formation, whatever you want to do. If he can play, he can flat out play. And if you're a coach, you coach him to play at any position. You don't say, oh, this guy can only play in the slot. That's just stupid. Anyone thinks and uses that for some excuse. it's using it just as an excuse. So, I think Jefferson, is a guy that, although he played it mostly in the slot at LSU, I think the guy with his talent could line up and play anywhere. And by the way, Rager is a very good football player, and I'm not going to condemn the pick. I think the guy's going to make a significant contribution. Right now he's a 21st best football player in the draft, and you got to be damn good to be picked at that high. And when a lot of teams look at you and evaluate you, so what he brings, and I think you never know how things play out in the draft room and preparation. Doug Peterson loves the gimmicks and gadgets kind of play, jet sweeps and all the kind of the cool gimmickries that we as fans like. And I think when you look at Rager, that's what he brings you. He brings you a lot of that kind of cool stuff, So I think that's one of the reasons why Doug liked him.
Ron Jaworski, not being able. Can you play golf on your own golf course?
No, hey, we are closed down, Tony. Shut down by rules of the governor, the mandate of the governor of New Jersey, Murphy, and the governor of Pennsylvania. We cannot open our golf courses.
Harry Mays.
It's an outrage, Ron.
Harry's apoplectic. You own a golf course and you can't even play on your own golf course?
Yeah, but Ron, they're playing in New York, which is the epicenter. They're opening public golf courses on Long Island this weekend.
Do you know how many letters and phone calls I've made to the governors already? You know what? And I have great respect for what they have to do, but I watch TV, I'm watching coronavirus, every special that's on, I say, get out in the sunshine, get some exercise. Well, what the hell do you think people do on a golf course?
And they socially distance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I got 200 acres. I just can't understand it. You can't go to the dentist, but you can get an abortion. Some of the things just don't make sense.
I usually go to the dentist to get my abortion. I got a multi-purpose guy, It's like the old Veterans Stadium.
Too many tangents, guys.
No, but I'm saying, if you're allowed to go out and walk on a hike on a trail. The trails are packed with people. They're not 6 feet apart. On a golf course, you can be 6 feet apart.
But don't go to a golf course.
Right.
It's an absolute outrage. I'm getting the hell. Can you take your golf courses and move them out of New Jersey to a more favorable state, Ron?
I guess I probably would. You have no idea how much money I'm losing on a monthly basis right now, owning 7 golf courses with 0 income.
Now people are going to say, now we're going to have to do a
GoFundMe,
a GoFundMe or some sort of radiothon for Ron Jaworski.
Hey, we'll work it.
Hey, Tony, I may call you, man. I may you headed up the fundraiser for me. Hey, but I can tell you this: when we do open, it'll be like playing Augusta National because you won't find a divot, a ball mark.
That's right.
And the weather's been good for grass growing because I'm looking at overhead shots.
Yeah.
And we've had a cool spring, a lot of rain, but it looks like the courses
lush.
They're lush right now.
Oh yeah, things are going to be beautiful. The good thing is, the government did provide a stimulus package, so I'm able to keep at least my golf course maintenance people working, cutting the grass, doing the aerification, doing the top dressing, all the things that you have to do this time of year, so you have pristine conditions when you get into the season. So, unfortunately, my favorite place are my 7 Tap Taverns, which are the bars and all the clubs where I like to hang out with all my friends and guests. So
Riley's Pub.
I do miss that. I do miss sitting. I would have been last night. I would have been sitting at one of the bars watching a draft and arguing with people.
Wait a minute, you couldn't go in your own bar in one of your own golf courses and turn the TV on and watch it by yourself?
I do not. I'm quarantined, Tony. I'm playing by the rules. I'm the preacher for be safe. Let's kick the shit out of this coronavirus and let's move on. So,
wow, he's fired up.
I love this.
He is fired up right now.
Football mentality, Tony.
That's right.
Ron Jaworski breaking it down. All right, tonight, I just saw Adam Schefter tweeted about that some GMs are telling him that the second round may have usually there's 7 to 8 guys that may have gone in the first round. He said there's 25 players still on the board that could be graded as first-round talent. That's how deep this draft is.
Yeah, I would agree. There are a lot of really good players left. This was a draft that was particularly deep in wide receivers, offensive linemen, and I think what you're going to see now, and as I look at the evolution of the game, if you don't have an abundance of secondary players that could cover today's wide-open gunslinging style of offense, you are way behind the curve. So I think you're going to see a run on athletic linebackers that could cover these backs out the backfield, and secondary players. Corners are just becoming more and more valuable.
And we just got this other note in from Adam Schefter. The Rams are restructuring Jared Goff's contract to free up $7 million. And so that's going to happen. You move money around, and you got to take care of other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They know that, and the Rams made some mistakes in giving away a lot of money a couple years ago. But the mistake is they didn't win a Super Bowl. They tried to win a Super Bowl, and if you win the Super Bowl by spending up money, you're a hero. If it doesn't happen, it was a mistake. And unfortunately for the Rams, it didn't work out. They went after that Vince Lombardi trophy. They didn't get it. Now you got to pay a little bit of a price for it.
Yeah, and there's quickly before we have to break here, Ron, but the Dolphins obviously look like they did well. Certainly the San Diego, I can still call them the Chargers, drafted well. I mean, there's a lot of teams that really did good work with their picks this year.
Yeah, I thought the Miami Dolphins had a really good draft. Quietly, the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they didn't really get the guys with the high persona and profile. I think Doug Marrone did a terrific job with their draft down there. Clearly, Brian Flores in Miami, that team played really competitive football the second half of last season. Him and Chris Greer have done a good job of building that roster. They got good young players. They're going to get a running back in tonight. I believe there are probably three really strong running backs that I think will make a significant contribution as rookies in this league. So I think the Dolphins clearly get a running back tonight.
Ron Jaworski, he breaks it down. Golf, bar talk, politics, everything in one segment. You're not getting that anywhere else. Although that wasn't political. That was a guy who has businesses
Trying
in
to
the
save
state.
my business.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn right, man.
Hey, Tony, you know I'm pretty an affable guy. I love people. I had to lay off 240 people.
Wow.
Yeah, 70 golf courses when the governors both said, Wolf says shut down, Murphy says shut down. I'm a people person. And these are not people that are wealthy. These are people that are going week to week with their paycheck. They work their butt off. I love them. And that's why we got to get this country back to work. It's people like that are really being hurt. And when I had to tell 240 people you're getting laid off, you have no idea how that hurt myself, and my wife is very active, and my family's involved in our business. That hurts us. So there's a personal side to it as well.
Absolutely, Ron. Everybody that knows you, man, whether you're in California, Miami, or wherever you are,
or wherever they pay me,
wherever they pay you to go, except New Jersey, and you decided to settle down there, and now you're regretting it all these years later. You could have been back in Los Angeles having a beautiful Hollywood Hills major condo out there overlooking the Bay.
Are the golf courses open in L.A.?
I think some Sacramento, they're all open, I'm reading.
All right. See, I made a mistake then.
It's outrageous.
Yes, you did, Ron.
And the ones in Florida, I think, are mostly
some of them.
Some of them are, yeah.
Some of them. Not in Palm Beach County.
Try not to. You're making amends. Robin, why do you have to keep bringing this stuff up?
I know this. I don't need to be reminded.
Harry's trying to sneak on his course out there in Montgomery County.
They had a news chopper over there taking video of people playing golf.
At 1912?
Yeah, it was
you know that
outrageous.
course, don't you, Ron?
Big Brother is watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got any drones flying over shooting you down if you go outside and hit a ball?
You know how you kill coronavirus? I said it already. Get out in the sunshine, exercise, be healthy.
What sunshine? What sunshine?
Might be nice tomorrow.
It's shining somewhere, right?
Right.
Hey, Ron, always great to talk
Thanks,
to you, bro.
Ron.
Thanks
I love
so
you
much.
guys, man. Be safe, okay?
The
Thanks.
great Ron Jaworski, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put your hands together. Give him a roaring round of applause.
It's going to be 66 tomorrow, partly sunny, Tony.
Oh, I thought you said Ron Jaworski was going to be 66 tomorrow.
No.
I thought it was supposed to rain all weekend.
Well, not according to this. Sunday it's going to rain here. And Monday.
Again.
Yep.
So now I'm getting soggy. I'm gonna develop like thick gills. Not Mike Gill. He's down in Jersey. Or Vince Gill, as you know. We're coming back. More of your calls. 215-462-TONY. 215-462-8669. Don't drink bleach, kids, and wash your hands as we have fun on a Friday. NFL draft action, yo.
Yeah, there are about 6 or 7 great odds.
Yes, he did. Let's kick the shit out of this coronavirus. Did you read this, Tony?
Which one?
Screen.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that last night.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it. Yeah, his 31-year-old brother.
And they were in a commercial together.
Right, I know.
So
I saw the
everybody-
commercial.
Yeah.
The soup commercial. How did he die?
They're not saying how he died, but he was 350 pounds. So who knows what could have been the reason. But he was young.
31, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Prescott family does not say, and there's no reason as to why. I mean, of course, everybody's going to wonder if it was coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's painful. And that's what bothers me about people that say, well, you know, these companies, including Ron's company, oh, they're so wealthy. Why can't they just continue paying? No, if they continue paying, then they would be so in debt that they might like go out of business altogether. They might like go bankrupt. We don't want companies to go bankrupt.
Well, when there's nothing coming in and the expenses that are still going out,
Yeah.
that depletion happens
Exactly, really fast. We want companies to still be around once this is all over. So yeah, it's laying off people is the only choice.
This is already over. We gotta open up.
Yeah, we do. Well, especially look at what Sweden's doing.
People need to be responsible. We need to go.
I've said it over and over and over again. What the shutdown has done is just delayed the inevitable. The people that are still susceptible are still going to be susceptible once this is all over.
Knock on the door
it's
when
just
you're
delaying
ready.
it. You know, the shutdown allowed the medical system to catch up, but it's either going to happen fast, like ripping off a Band-Aid, or doing it a little bit at a time. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to be awful.
Now, how old was I in that picture? It wasn't 30. Jesus, it was in L.A. I moved there
It was
in
about
2000.
15 years ago.
I moved there in 2000, so how old would I have been then? That's 20 years ago.
Was it? Yeah, but I think that photo was about 15 years ago. Because you were dating Viv at the time.
Yeah. 2004-ish?
Approximately.
Yeah, it had to
probably.
be 2003, 2004. So.
Viv.
Vivienne, his French girlfriend. Oui, oui.
From France.
Yeah, oui.
Why do you think my French is so good?
His little French girlfriend.
Now, wait a minute. How old was I in 2004? 62.
15 years ago, so you would have
82,
been
82,
51.
92, yeah, I was 51 years old there. I just looked good because I lived in L.A. and lived a good life.
Yeah.
A life of sin and degradation and
Right.
The good
and
life.
no deprivation.
Except really bad taste in shoes.
Harry's not heavy. That was back then. That picture was old when Harry was heavy. And he's not heavy. He's my brother.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
The greatest thing about social media, Harry, is that people find pictures of you from different eras.
Yeah.
Because they're all over the place. Except the ones on my fans only page. You have to pay for that. Or OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah.
OnlyFans. Or
Yeah,
fans
OnlyFans,
only.
yeah.
And so when they post pictures, so there's all these Playboy Mansion pictures are popping up all over the place. They're like, well, Tony, how old were you there? 30. I said, no, I was like 51. So when I was in L.A., I lived a good life, Harry.
Yeah.
I went out in the sunshine. I didn't worry about viruses.
I think it's
every
easier to
once in
stay
a while,
in shape.
It is easier.
Yeah.
I rode my bike every day on the beach. I ran. I did everything.
Yeah.
Went to the Playboy Mansion multiple times. I was worried about viruses there. But
Yeah,
at least we had a vaccine.
Little Valtrex.
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
gone.
exactly.
No big deal.
Come on.
Now, there's a great tweet from our buddy Jimmy Kempski, at Jimmy Kempski on Twitter. The real loser of this draft is whoever TCU's quarterback was. That poor bastard is just getting slaughtered. Of course, in the videos, trying to throw to Jalen Reagor last year and, dropping balls, overthrowing him.
Yeah, because in 2018, as we mentioned, You look at the video of his games, and this guy was
his numbers were much
and his
better.
Quarterback was good.
Right.
And his quarterback was hitting him, and he was turning around and catching balls, and he was wide open, and the ball was right there. Last year, Jimmy Kenzie's exactly right. You look at the passes that this guy overthrew. Now, he hit some drops, too.
Sure.
But he probably dropped it because he was surprised that the ball actually got near him.
Got to his hands, huh?
Exactly. And again, I'm not making excuses for anybody. Mean. Cheapers.
Now, McMullen, of course, his...
John McMullen?
Yeah, John McMullen.
Is he coming on today? No, he's not coming on.
At JF McMullen on Twitter. Yeah, let's see how he did on his mock, Tony.
We're going to give him grades now, mock draft?
Well, no, I'm just going to say, 26 of the 32 players that he said would be selected were selected in the first round.
Some of these ingrates on our Twitch stream primarily, ripping John McMullen's football knowledge, his football chops, his understanding of the game.
And he actually had 9 out of the 32 that actually went to the correct team that he said would go to.
Did he win any of the pools? Did he have a draft bracket
I don't
somewhere
know.
where people can bet on it?
That I'm not sure.
It's ridiculous, man. That's pretty damn good.
It's not bad.
It's beyond not bad.
It's not bad.
Now, our buddy Dean is posting winners from horse race drafts.
Gulfstream? Where's he at?
He's I don't know.
Tampa Bay Downs? What's going on?
I don't know what track he's betting on, but he's betting on it, and he's pissing me off because he's betting, and he's telling everybody the picks, and I can't bet because I'm on the air.
Right.
I'm jonesing here, Harry. Jonesing. Anyway, the other story is we have time for this. There's all these, we've been talking about it, so this isn't a new idea. But, and we talk about it every day. We all know what we have to do. Wash your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Don't drink bleach. Don't inject bleach. Don't inject Lysol. Unless you're in Philadelphia, then I think it's safe for you. You don't don't drink bleach. But you can get that bleach if you can find it and pour it in your eyes when you're watching some things that you see out there. That's one of the memes, Harry?
Yeah.
Somebody holding I think it's, what's his name? From The Simpsons. Homer Simpson pouring bleach into his eyes. Do not pour bleach in your eyes. I know you see that. Don't eat Tide Pods.
Don't pour bleach pretty much anywhere on your body. I mean, that's
or even on your clothes. I mean, you got dark pants. You get a little bleach on you, boom.
Some women put bleach in a certain area.
Well, yeah, but that's a different kind of bleach.
It's selected and it's diluted and it's applied professionally.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Do not do this at home.
So you're talking about the celebrities? Is that where you're going here?
And again, listen, everybody's doing their part. But after a couple of months of this now, it starts to get old. We get it. We know we're supposed to stay inside. We're staying inside. Robin and I go to the store once a week. We wear masks. We wear gloves. I'm doing my part. And by the way, when we wear gloves, we take them off and put them in our car. And then when we come home, we put them in a trash can. All of these other dirt bags out there, and I'm not talking about the dirt bag from the UC Santa Barbara dirt bags, their baseball team.
Oh.
That's their team, you know that.
Is that what they call
dirt bags?
The dirt
yes.
bags, okay.
I'm talking about the other dirt bags who aren't even good at baseball, people who throw stuff everywhere. So I don't want to be lectured about cleaning the earth when I'm the only person who cleans this neighborhood in my neighborhood. What am I supposed to do, go door to door and beat the hell out of my neighbors and wake them up? People don't care.
You could get some of these neighbors to clean up their front steps and stuff.
Exactly. They don't do anything.
No, they don't.
So how are they going to, if they don't care, that unfortunately there's so many people that don't care out there, how are you going to make them care? By arresting them when they're in a park? And so finally it took our friends down under, Harry, from the land down under, to put together this brilliant video pretty much explaining what celebrities mean to them when they see them on TV, telling them what to do and how tough they are having it as well.
Hi, I'm Greta Lee Jackson, and I'm not a celebrity. But these people are. And during this time of crisis, they have provided the strength that we've all needed to get through. So it's time for us normal people to say thank you.
Thanks, celebrities.
I see a number of deaths every day, and the constant threat of being infected and taking that home to my family is terrifying. But the one thing that gives me strength to get to my job every day is watching Ellen broadcast from her mansion.
This is like being in jail. is what it is.
I've been waiting on hold for something for days now. I've lost my job, I've got no money, I've lost everything. But this video of Amanda Keller dancing around in a massive kitchen is really getting me through.
I have been working for 48 hours straight and my face hurts from wearing a mask for so long. I was going to go liquor patient to end it all, but Manu from MasterChef reminded me why I'm here.
I just had to break up a fight in aisle 3, and every day people call me a f***ing cunt. But having Sam Armitage reassure me from her sprawling rural property really makes it all worthwhile.
We're all in this together.
My landlord refused to, give me a decrease in rent, so I'm out on the street. But this bloke on the beach, man, he makes me feel better. I don't know who he is, but if I knew him, my life would be beautiful.
My mum died, but look, it's Al from Home and Away.
We really are all in this together.
Thanks, celebrities.
Thank you, celebrities.
Thanks, celebrities.
Thanks, celebrities.
Get back to work, you f***ing
Thanks, celebrities.
From the bottom of our pathetic little nobody, unfamous, worthless dog shit broke ass hearts. Thank you.
It's pretty good.
Oh.
God, that's fantastic.
I'm crying. I'm not crying, Harry. You're crying. Thank you.
I think the sarcasm, there's something about Aussies and Brits.
Mm-hmm.
They've really mastered it.
So they can do the dry deadpan sarcasm. See, in this country, it's hard to tell when somebody's being sarcastic. You actually have to have a sarc font if you're on Twitter.
Well, that's Twitter,
Yeah,
of
you have,
course,
because it's when it's so obviously sarcasm or snark or anything else you want to call it, and people don't get it, and they get angry that you're poking fun at them.
Well, here in
a fun way, in a respectful
Here in the U.S.,
way.
I think our sarcasm is seen as rude, whereas elsewhere...
You put an accent on it, and all of a sudden it's not rude.
Well, but, I mean,
It's more
obviously,
dignified that way.
if you live over there, you all have the same accent. It's not an accent. It's just the way you speak. It's just considered normal. You know, everybody gets that you're going to... It's the way to pass time. It's the way to say things without saying it.
Ricky Gervais likes to blast the celebrities, right?
People think that was a bit at the Oscars, and it was, but, because he's not right-wing for sure.
No.
But now he really has he's had it with celebrities.
He crushes them.
It's awesome.
He was asked about, they did that John Lennon Imagine video, I guess, where a bunch of celebrities got in and sang. Well, he says, they're going, my film's coming up, and I'm not on the telly, so I need to be in the public eye. Not all of them, but some of them. You can see it in their eye. I could cry at the beauty of my personality. I'm just so beautiful for doing this, and everyone sees that. He goes, we get it. He goes, people are sick and tired of being lectured by multimillionaires telling them to clean out their coffee jar and put it in the right bin. They're sick of it.
We are sick of it.
Yeah, I love it.
It's occurred to me, Harry.
Yeah.
You and Ricky are like the same person.
I could hang with him.
You could totally hang with him.
Oh, we'd have a good time.
You're like brothers from another mother.
Except without the British accent.
Yeah, without the accent.
Zillions of dollars, too, after an illustrious, amazing career as a comedian and a film.
And I have a gap in my teeth.
Exactly. Well, you can get that fixed, except right now, Harry. Eventually, you'll get that gap fixed.
That's elective.
It is elective. And it's electric. Coming up in the next hour, speaking of electric, the man himself, the man whose channel we are on, he's going to give us the blessing.
Until now. That could end today.
The blessing. You know how they say, I'm waiting for the blessing.
Right.
The blessing will be bestowed upon this show by the man himself. Dan Patrick will be joining us in the next hour. I believe there'll be some alacrity. You don't want to miss that. And it'll be live. Stick around.
You have Netflix, right?
Yes.
Have you seen Ricky Gervais's Afterlife?
No.
Oh.
Is it a comedy?
It is a comedy. It is so freaking brilliant.
But is it a movie or a stand-up?
It's a series.
Oh.
It's a.
What's
it's
it called again?
Afterlife. It's only been out one season. The second season is supposed to hit maybe today, actually, maybe.
But there was another show that you were watching. No, but before you go there, so she puts it on. There's Ricky. I said, "Oh, is this the show that I didn't see?" She said, no, it's a new one, and it was horrible.
Yeah, no, that one wasn't good at all. That one wasn't good.
And
But
not because of
Afterlife-
him. It was just a bad plot.
Afterlife, you will love. He plays a man. This doesn't sound like it would be funny, but he just does it so brilliantly. He plays a man who lost his wife to some kind of cancer, and he does not give a shit. Like he always had been sort of this man who played nice to everybody, and after his wife dies, he just doesn't give a shit anymore.
Right.
And he actually kind of feels like he wants to commit suicide, but he doesn't want to because his wife left videos for him and told him he can't. And she gave him a dog before he died, knowing that the dog would get him through it. And it is so freaking brilliant. It's in a small town in England, and it is freaking hysterical.
How many episodes?
I want to say the first season only has maybe 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not watching 7-season shows. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's
I'll have
totally
that.
worth
I don't know
it.
if I'll have time to see at the ending. I don't know. How long is that going to take? Who
I
has time
binge
for
watched
that, Harry?
it. I binge watched it. It
Who
was
has
so
time
funny.
for that? You know what?
I got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time.
I'm watching Bosch right now, and that's got like 6 seasons, I think, so far.
Every time I
It's
hear
good,
the
though.
name
The
Bosch,
spark plugs are good.
Yeah.
And
Mr.
of course,
Pat Canine in the house.
where's your damn mask, man? What do you think this is? An NFL draft room with the family gathered?
Wash your hands, man.
What are you, Philly Efkin? What the heck are you talking about?
What?
I have no idea what he's talking about on Twitch. Oh, yes, you did. But that's from the movie.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
Ah, yes, indeed, kids. It is the end of another week. This is week 3, Harry. If you're scoring at home, this is the end of our 3rd week on SiriusXM Channel 211. It's flying by, isn't
It really is, and it's kind of weird to say that, but I agree with you. You'd think since we have so little to do, in other words, like outside of doing the show,
the preparation's extensive, though, and that's what makes the days go by faster, too. You know, start at 9 in the morning, and then at 6 o'clock at night, we're doing post-production stuff. So I love it because it keeps your mind involved, even if there's no sports.
We've got a purpose.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Like dogs have a purpose, too. But this show has a purpose. We're here for one reason and one reason alone, to fill time, to entertain. We're sort of like Bob Hope without the dancing girls and gigantic aircraft carriers
Well, when
behind
you go
us.
see the troops?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We're entertaining the troops out there, giving you information. We got rounds 2 and 3 of the draft. We've been breaking it down.
You know who didn't make a pick last night?
The Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, that and the New England Patriots.
That's right, because they
They
moved
traded out.
They did trade out, and they picked up 72 more fourth-round picks.
It's unbelievable. Didn't they make the trade with the Chargers, right?
Yes.
Right? The Patriots have an early 2nd pick tonight. They've got an early 3rd. They've got a total of 4 third-round picks.
How many?
4. And 2 4th-round picks. So Hoodie's going to be wheeling and dealing. They're going to take a bunch of players
And,
tonight.
of course, the Bears didn't have a first-round pick either. We're talking about the Patriots had a first-round pick.
Is that still from the Trubisky move?
I'm not sure.
That the Bears lost their first-round pick. I've lost track, but
so have the Bear fans at this point. They're trying to forget about it. But we have second-round action tonight. And is there any doubt in any way, shape, or form that the New England Patriots do not draft a quarterback this year? Or do they say, would that upset Jarrett Stidham? Stidham.
Yeah.
Stillman. I'm thinking of, what's her name's husband? Not husband, her boyfriend. Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
That's Stedman.
No.
That's Stedman.
Stedman.
That's Stedman.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
What's his first name again?
Stedman?
I don't know. I don't think he has a first name.
It's
I think
just
he just
Stedman.
goes
She just
by
knows
Stedman.
Madonna
She
or
says,
Cher.
get out.
Some as that.
She just says, Stedman, are you in the house? Get out.
You know, the Patriots have the 5th pick in the 2nd round. If Jake Fromm is still on the board from Georgia, I could see them taking him.
Is that a stone-cold, guaranteed,
No.
lead pipe
not a lock.
NFL mock draft round 2 lock? No Buffalo Bills either, of course.
Right.
I didn't say everybody had a pick in the first round. Stedman Graham. Stedman's his first name. His last name is Graham.
Oh, he really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I thought it was his last name, too.
He's just known as Stedman. It's like a soccer player, just one name.
I don't think even Oprah knows what his full name is. He's just a beard, I think, or something like that, but I don't know.
Jeez.
Who am I? I'm not judging. He's 6'7", you know.
Really?
Yeah, he's tall.
I wonder if he has hoop game.
He's got to. If you're 6'7" and you're a brother and you can't dunk.
Well, I mean, I think if you're 6'7", period, you had better be able to shoot a little basketball. It's kind of awkward being tall and not being able to play hoop, right?
Exactly. No, Andrew Luck is not Stedman Shealy, of course.
No.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Stedman Sheehy it was. I don't think it was Shealy. That's good stuff.
Stedman Graham did play college basketball
Did he?
at Hardin-Simmons.
Oh,
Hardin
okay.
Simmons.
Well, that's like maybe a Division III school or something.
It's all
But
right,
anyway,
man. It's a good
it's all
job.
right.
And now
And Ball State too.
He was a Ball State guy?
That's what it says up there.
Isn't Dan Patrick a Ball State guy?
No, he went to Dayton.
You know who else went to Dayton?
John
right?
Gruden.
You know who else went to Dayton? Michael Schmidt. He's from Dayton.
He's from Dayton. I don't think he went to college.
No, he went to Miami of Ohio, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's out
This
near.
is good.
That's
This is
near
good
there, too.
Ohio knowledge right here.
I'll tell you.
You're not getting that anywhere. Even Bob and Tom don't have this kind of Ohio knowledge because they're in Indianapolis when they were doing their show. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we'll keep you up to date on the drafts and movement. And we mentioned that last hour, Adam Schefter was talking about there could be 20 guys in the second round, according to people who follow this stuff closely, not this random guy on Twitter. Well, let's go to San Antonio. Let's find out if Stedman is down there right now. Let's find out if the man is upset that the fan was not named after him, even though he purchased said fan and should at least have a plaque. How about if we get an engraved little plaque and put it on and glue it onto the side of the fan, even though it's not named after him, to commemorate the purchase that he made with his own hard-earned money. AJ in San Antonio. What up, man?
Well, yeah, everybody at the office is wondering why I am wearing a black armband over my right arm.
Well, first of all,
in memoriam.
what are you doing in your office? What kind of office is this?
This is in memoriam of San Antonio. I am in mourning.
But aren't you home working? You're not working. You're not out on the road, are you?
No, he's essential. He's going out and
I'm
about.
critical and essential.
Yeah.
I'm out and about.
So you're just like us, in other words.
Yeah, out and about. Well, I mean, I got to rip whoever's decision it was not to make shows like yours critical and essential. I mean, that goes without saying.
What do you mean? We are. That's why we're on the
Yeah.
air. If we were not
Yeah,
deemed
but
critical and essential, the mayor would have goons down here pulling us out of here.
There'd be police tape around this house.
Exactly. We would have yelled. You know,
The
there's
yellow
a bench
tape.
right around the corner from here. There's a little square where the Joey
I
Giardello
saw it.
statue is.
Yeah.
And there's three
There's
little
tape.
park benches. They have police tape around 3 benches.
So people don't
So
congregate.
people can't sit down on a bench in one of the most heavily trafficked neighborhoods in the city in a restaurant district. You've been there, AJ. Is that not a national outrage?
That is a national outrage, and that's what I wish. I mean, if it wasn't for this lockdown, you guys would be doing satellite shows all over town.
You're damn
spreading
right.
the gospel.
I'd be playing Satellite from Dave Matthews Band and getting high without even smoking because
That's a good
everybody else
song.
around me would be smoking.
Well, you do that without a lockdown or anything like that.
Now, can you
don't need
use
COVID-19.
can the armband that you're using to memorialize the fan not being named after you? Can that be fashioned into a Corona mask?
You know, that's not a bad idea. You know, in fact, you know, a lot of people, you know, their masks have the Cowboys logo on it.
Is that a violation?
You can't catch anything with the Cowboys on it. You know what I'm talking about?
I messed up your joke. I didn't mean to. Well, you got at least finish the punchline. No, wait a minute. Aren't you a Cowboy fan?
Yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan, and I've got. I mean, look. I mean, if there's anybody who's mastered social distancing, it's the Dallas Cowboys from a Super Bowl for 23 years.
Wow. I was there. I remember it well. This is good. See, when you could be a self-deprecating Cowboy fan, because most of them aren't.
No,
Now, CD
you're right.
Lamb, you know, he falls into your lap there. And so when you saw that last night, as a longtime Dallas Cowboy fan living in San Antonio, what were your thoughts? Did you say, oh, screw the Eagles? They did it to us a couple of years ago when they got Dallas Goedert and moved ahead, and now we got the guy that they were going to take. What were your thoughts?
Damn straight, but you know, you know, you look at it, is this another talented wide receiver whose career we can run down the toilet, or is this somebody who's actually, you know, going to have an NFL career that translates? I mean, this guy had 170-something catches for the Sooners. He had about 3,300 yards in his career. 32 touchdowns and an average catch of about 19 yards. And all I hear about him is how subpar his combine was. I mean, I'd give my left arm to have a 40-yard dash of 4.5. And his 34.5-inch vertical. I mean, that's about 30 inches more than I can jump.
Well, yeah, most of us. I mean,
yeah.
And you're not even and you're not even a white dude.
Yeah. Well, don't discriminate. Don't discriminate.
No, I'm not. I'm pointing out that you are a person of color.
I am a person of color. But you know what? I like the pick. I mean, he's a Texas guy. He went to Foster High School outside of Houston.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
I remember hearing him when he was in high school, which is just outside of Sugar Land, Richmond, Texas, actually. And it's a great pick. I mean, I don't know how what's going to happen with Amari Cooper. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? We need a wide receiver. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do in the second round. I mean, there's a little buzz that they're going to go after Jalen Johnson from Utah, cornerback, or they might go after another edge rusher for Jonathan Grenard from Florida. So I mean,
they could also get a center too.
Yeah, that's right. He retired. And the Cowboys, they draft great. Do they hold on to him or do they run somebody's career down the toilet?
Now, come on, man. How can you have any faith? But you see the beam on that. Well, by the way, do you know the beam on Jerry's yacht? That's a good boat. That's a nice yacht right there. That's not a boat.
That's an aircraft carrier, not a yacht.
I know it is.
My God.
I've seen pictures of it from outside. I need to go in there. I need to get Troy Aikman to get me in there with Jerry one day. I want to get inside Jerry's yacht. Because, the Cowboy guys, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith.
Those are your boys.
Jay Novacek.
Where's that thing docked? Where was he?
Wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need water. That boat is so awesome. It'll float. I think he has, like, jets that, like the aircraft, what do you call them, those Harrier jets?
Yeah.
Where they lift up straight. I think Jerry's boat will go over land, too. And it'll go all the way into the middle of There it is. Look at that baby.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, it does look like an aircraft carrier.
Jeez.
He brought it down to Miami, for the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
He was going to bring it to Philly for the draft, but there's too much debris in the Delaware River, and he didn't want to get scratched up.
Man, that thing is awesome.
That's a beautiful ship right there, man. That's got to be $2-3 million right there.
Oh, you think?
No kidding.
Actually,
got a helipad on
$250 million.
A quarter of $1 billion.
Of course, Robin. I was joking. I know how much boats cost.
No, I'm just
a captain.
stating this one is $250 million.
Does that have a helipad on it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
Did you say you're a captain?
Absolutely.
Not Captain Stavin.
No, he's a friend, though. I used to go out with him in Marina Del Rey during the day when I was off. I'd go take a stroll down the docks with him. It's amazing the kind of people he would run into down there, Harry.
You're a captain and a minister.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
God, you have it all covered.
I'm multi-facility. I'm
You
multi-purpose.
can marry somebody on land and at sea.
Exactly right.
Jeez.
Not Captain Noah, not Captain Morgan, and not Captain Chaos.
Not Captain Crunch.
Exactly. And while Jerry was on his yacht last night making the pick, socially distanced from his daughter and son, perfectly in the middle with the beautiful you see the big windows on the side? There weren't portholes there, Robin. There weren't. Those were windows. And you couldn't see in, but you could only see out. How about that? $250 million. How long is that baby? Because it's the length and the width when you have a boat. You know what I'm saying? What's the beam on that thing?
I don't know. 357 foot long, it says.
Wow, that's the length. That's like the length of a football field.
Yeah.
And when they lift a lockdown, you got to do a remote on Jerry's yacht.
Absolutely. I definitely want to be there because I could pilot that boat.
357-foot yacht.
Yeah.
Made by Bravo Eugenia, and it cost him $100 million more than he purchased the Cowboys for in 1989.
Wow.
The vessel has a spa, a sauna, a steam room, massage room, plunge pool, a full gym, and two
helicopter pads, baby.
And a big liquor cabinet.
Oh, yeah. And you know what else I'm sure they've had on there many, many times in the past? Not maybe Jerry, but
Chicks at the same time, man.
That's right.
Exactly.
Two chicks at the same time, man.
Exactly right, man.
There's a whole lot of Johnny Walker Blue in there, baby.
How can you not love that, man?
I know.
Yeah, God bless Jerry Jones, man. You know, you can hate the Cowboys all you want.
Yes, but
God
you can't
bless.
hate the man.
No, you can't. Love Jerry Jones.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Good luck, and we're going to get the plaque made. Once we can get to a plaque store, they're not essential right now. I'm going to get some trophies. I'm going to get some plaques, maybe another trophy wife. We'll see what we need. We'll get it going. Thank you, AJ. Guess who's coming up, Harry? I'm almost nervous now.
DP.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah.
That one. Tony and Harry. Dan Patrick joining us next here. He's scheduled to appear at least. Is he going to bag?
No.
No way. No way. We're coming right back.
Yeah, those they're not portholes. They look like they're light fixtures.
What
They're
is that
like-
in the boat?
Yeah, this is inside the boat. They look like they're some kind of light fixtures with like frosted glass.
Yeah.
Or something.
It looks a little cheesy to me.
You
I don't really like
what
that.
do you
room.
think you're going to get for $250 million? Like wood paneling?
Yeah, I mean, that looks a little weird.
Checkerboard floors? They are light fixtures, but they're made to look like portholes.
Yeah.
Because there are no round portholes on that
Right.
vessel. Do you know that?
Still not as cool as this one.
No, I agree.
No.
That
That's
now
what-
that is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can't take that with you. I mean, you can't travel the world in the house in Scottsdale. You can go around the world in that house in Scottsdale if you know the right people.
Imagine what he's got. He's got a crew, a full-time crew
yeah.
on that boat. What that costs to
my God.
maintain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be $20 million a year just to pay for the captain, all the crew,
And
the
where
fuel.
you can only park, you can only
Park
dock that
it, yeah.
certain places. I mean,
Exactly.
you got to, you know.
You can't park that thing
That's
anywhere.
right.
No, I mean most
like you need a
most
flight
exclusive marinas have space for that. Absolutely. Like if he came to Atlantic City and went to the old Trump Marina, which is now over there,
Yeah.
back there, what is it called back there? Borgata and Golden Nugget. That used to be Trump Marina. You could put that yacht back there.
That's bigger than Tiger Woods's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's actually the same, almost the same length as a football field.
It's longer, I think.
No, longer. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
longer.
just like- because
I
a
just said
football
that,
field,
Robin. It's
360 I know,
it's
no, no.
100 yards is 300 feet.
This is 350.
300.
Yeah.
120 yards is 360.
That includes the end zones.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's 360 feet is the full football field from end to end with end
With
zones.
end zones, yeah.
Because it's 100 yards, and then you tack on
And the boat was
30
how-
yards in each end zone.
20.
20 yards in each end
The
zone.
boat was what?
10 in each for 20.
The boat was 357 or 367?
357, I think.
I had a 357 once, but it's hard to get ammo right now. That'll blow a hole right clean through you. Isn't that what he said? No, what was the revolver that Dirty Harry had?
That was a 44 Magnum.
Oh,
I think,
44
yeah.
Magnum, yeah. Not the 357 Magnum.
And if used properly, it'll blow your head clean off or something like that. I don't have that exactly right. But.
How big is the USS Comfort?
Oh, it's
crushes Jerry.
Oh yeah, that's a massive ship.
You can't even imagine that. If that's that.
But that's still, that ship at 350 feet. That I can go across the ocean.
Oh, easy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now you're not going out in the wintertime across the North Atlantic in that thing because that'll still bounce around big time. You don't realize how small a boat is. You think your boat is a nice sized boat until you go out in the ocean and you realize you're just a speck.
Yeah.
Oh, here somebody's asking, and where's the yacht docked?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. It's probably out in California somewhere.
No,
it's probably down
Texas.
down in Texas off of.
Well, this guy's hanging cat
Galveston
in L.A.
area.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones
Here it is.
yacht.
This is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world.
It'll blow your head.
There's a more powerful handgun. It just sounds nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're even. Is the Iron Eagle the one that's
Oh. Jones's yacht is docked in Miami. Miami Island Gardens.
Benito, Miami. We
Yes.
were down. We were right near
Yeah.
Miami. We actually probably drove by it when we were in Miami.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
because when we came into the airport to pick up our rental car, we were driving by all of these major dives where that strip club is.
We saw, who did we see? Not Ludacris's yacht? Who was it?
Usher's.
Usher's yacht down there.
Waiting on Dan. No Dan yet.
He calling in?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
We were trying to figure out where Jerry's yacht is berthed. And, of course, it's in Miami, in Miami Gardens. When Robin drove by it, the Booby Trap is the strip club. When
The
you come
Booby
out.
Trap?
That's the actual name
Wow.
of it. That's the first thing we saw when we
Not
got
the
our
Mouse Trap, which is in Panama City.
No, that's good mousetrap knowledge. Mark Cuban's yacht, they're all in Miami Gardens. You know, because the water's clear there.
Yeah.
If you park it like in Gulfport, Mississippi, or down in
Biloxi,
Galveston, which is the closest port when you go straight south to the Gulf of
Now,
Mexico.
is it straight south or is it east?
I think it's straight down south.
Okay.
Because the Gulf of Mexico is due south.
So you go down Galveston?
Go down
like
Galveston.
down the shore?
Galveston, and then you listen to the song from the great
Glenn Campbell?
Glenn Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of his great songs, Robin.
Jimmy Webb wrote that one, too.
Yes, he did. Now, Dan hasn't called in yet, right?
Well, it's not 5:20 yet. It's technically.
So what happens if Dan Patrick blows me off on his own channel?
I think that's a clear indication that he doesn't want us on his channel. Yeah, here's,
Give me a little
here's
Galveston.
Galveston right here.
Galveston, oh Galveston.
Now, this is, you approve of this, right, Harry?
This is phenomenal.
Okay.
Kidding me?
I still see
Love Glenn Campbell.
eyes glowing. She was 21. She was 20. At least she wasn't 16 like most of the other songs prior to this, remember?
Neil Sedaka?
Yeah. Back in the 60s, every girl was 16 in the song. Jeez.
Creepy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell, you got to give him respect. Not just for being one of the all-time greats, but the fact that the girl in Galveston was 21.
Right. Well, Jimmy Webb wrote it. He
exactly.
made sure that he wasn't going to get Glenn in trouble.
And you figure down south. You're
they
saying,
bend the rules.
You know, because in some of those states, the age of consent's like 14.
Right, yeah.
So give Jimmy Webb love for saying she was 21 in Galveston.
Right, and he's a Long Island guy, too.
Exactly.
Jimmy Webb.
Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, he must have his clock synchronized because I was getting a little antsy at 5:18.
You were getting worried.
5:19, I'm thinking, will Dan Patrick remember? Will he blow me off? Will he give me the blessing, as we used to say in the Christmas Vacation? Remember when the blessing? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever on Dan Patrick Radio, SiriusXM 211, the man himself, who finally, and I'm glad I got you on today, Dan, because I just want to get that last Tampa Bay shirt before you have to shut it down.
Before the cease and desist comes through?
We already took it down. Tom Brady's lawyers reached out and very polite with a cease and desist. So we had a pre-cease and desist sale, and we stopped selling the last Tampa Bay T-shirt right after the show today.
I can't believe you actually went that long before they stopped you.
Well, they said, the 27th of this month, and then I told my guys, I said, let's not take this up to midnight, the 26th. How about we just do it at the end of the show on Friday? Let Tom have his trademark. The guy needs something positive in his life, and I'm happy that Tom could get, maybe sell some T-shirts that say Tampa Bay on it. I really am. I'm happy for it.
Is that why he called Howard Stern instead of you, because you were ripping him off and selling T-shirts?
I don't know that, but a source close to a source that I know said no, that's not the case.
Oh, okay. Because as an investigative journalist from way back when, those are the kinds of angles I look at, Dan, as you well know, going back to our days. I wasn't a tag team partner, but I was part of that group of whatever we called ourselves back then in the early 90s.
I don't know what we were. It was a mess is what we were, because for some reason I came in on Saturday night for 6 hours to do radio at ESPN and didn't get paid for it. But I did have fun because you were there, and we had Overman was there, Chuck was there, so it was a lot of fun. But for some reason, I don't know why I kept going in every Saturday and not getting paid.
There was a magnet in that studio because, back then, ESPN TV was the only entity. There was no ESPN2, no ESPN News. So radio was the first entity. And a lot of the SportsCenter guys, Berman, you name it, Tommy Jackson, Dick Vitale, they would get off the set doing highlights. And, you can't really expound or give any of your long opinions for more than 30 seconds. And so everybody wanted to come in there and do radio. And we had free food. We were catered. So that was the other draw.
Wow.
I would get done with SportsCenter sometimes, and I would try to sneak by ESPN Radio so I didn't have to go in and do it. But you had producers. You have these guys in the Diamond District in New York, and they're always looking to see if somebody is going into a store to buy diamonds, and then they'll go and approach you and say, come on over and go into our store. That's what you had at ESPN Radio. You had guys out front looking for people to bring into the club there, and it felt like I got sucked in there. I'd get done at 12 o'clock, and then they'd bring me in so I could do an hour of radio after I'd done SportsCenter.
And it was the best hour in radio history because everybody was exhausted.
Yeah.
We'd do 6 hours going into the 7th hour, the midnight hour. We would look for things on TV. We would look for pornographic videos and things. Of course, they weren't on the air there though. We would watch Telemundo, looking for dancing women.
Tom, remember we weren't even allowed to take phone calls.
I know.
ESPN and our boss John Walsh, we'd be on the air for 6 hours. And you couldn't take any phone calls.
It was 7 hours, Dan. We were on from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Well, I didn't. I had it in my deal. I got to leave at midnight. I couldn't stay
That's
later.
Right. I remember.
But it was torture. That all was is just we would sit there and talk to one another, and you go, I don't even know if anybody's listening. And maybe nobody was listening, but we started out as weekend radio at ESPN. Oh God!
And all these years later, you're still going strong.
Yeah.
And you stay the same age. Although I remember when we moved to L.A. and we were both working for DirecTV, or actually Content Factory, and then DirecTV, and I would fill in, and they would fly me from L.A. all the way to your studios in Connecticut to fill in for you back in those days, man.
I know.
It's a lot of fun, man. And then the guys, how long have you? Because you've been with your guys, and they've been loyal, and they've been with you from day one. The Danettes, and I see, I ran into you in Miami. Of course, we had to go in. It was like everybody in media on the Sunday night of Super Bowl week before it started. Where did they go? Joe's Stonecrab. And there's Dan and all the Danettes, and then there's Clay Travis and his people, and then I come walking in, and everything stopped when I walk in, but I think you can understand it.
Well, they stop because they go, oh, my God, he's still alive.
Does that make me a brunette?
Yes, you're a brunette. Yes.
Okay.
Well, you do have. Well, you're a little gray in there.
Yeah,
though,
it's
Harry.
a little gray now. Yeah.
Dan Patrick joining us. So, obviously, the show's gone great. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I remember back when you used to think I was good at radio. Back in the day.
When you had your game going, you were as good as anybody. You could do it and do it well, and you had this ability to get riled up about something. And I, some do it and they fake it when they're riled up. Like you would get into it, and I could tell that you were really into it. And I always appreciated that. You always had enthusiasm. You weren't afraid. And there's a lot of qualities, a lot of traits with people in this business who are successful, and you certainly have those. And that's why when they reached out and said, hey, Tony, can we put him on the channel on SiriusXM? And I said, absolutely. I always appreciated your personality and your love for doing good radio. And so I'm happy for you and happy to have you part of the lineup.
So is this the official blessing now? Do we have incense or holy water or essential oils that you can anoint me with?
We don't want to do the essential oils again. You tricked me that one time after I got off SportsCenter, and you said, hey, I got some essential oils. And we went over to the Radisson, and I went, wait a minute here. This has nothing to do with any I thought of.
Yeah, but we always had the bathtub full of beer, though.
I know we did. We were so sad. Because here we are, and I was doing pretty well with Oberman on SportsCenter, but if people really saw sort of how we managed our lives back then, how we were treated, a big night was we got through with SportsCenter, got through with radio. We'd go over to your room at the Radisson and have an entire bathtub full of beer and we would sit around and talk as if we hadn't done that for 6 or 7 hours prior to.
But that was like being in quarantine. That was quarantine
like,
before quarantine was cool, Dan.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 dudes sitting around talking, drinking beer, and I thought, and I loved it at the time, and then I realized, there are actually other things to do that might be more interesting than that. But hey, at the time, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Dan Patrick, you can hear him every day. You can see him every day on YouTube. You can hear him on Fox Sports Radio. Is there anything you're not on right now, other than alcohol, unless you started drinking on a Friday afternoon?
No, I'm going to wait. I wait till 7 o'clock. That's my rule. 7 o'clock, then I have a beverage and have some tequila tonight. Get ready for the second and third round of the draft.
Now, is that a standard, or is that self-quarantined hours, or is that a regular routine regardless of what the state of the country is?
Oh, this is pre-quarantine. This will be post-quarantine, but it is. I just sit down in my basement, and I'm fine. I have my own quarantine where my wife and kids, they don't come down to the basement, so it works out well.
Now, you're doing your show. You're still in the studio, though, up there in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, it's about 3 miles from my house, but I cut my staff in half to come into the studio. Everybody else works from home. 3 of the Danettes work from home. And I just wanted to cut down on the number of people in there. So we have 5 people total. Paulie comes in, and we're separated by the glass there, and it's good. I just go to work and I go right home. I don't do any shopping. I don't go anywhere. I've tried to cut down on any kind of socializing that I can.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky. I mean, the Super Bowl happened, and then Robin and I were in New York in early February. After the Super Bowl, we went to New York actually in mid-February. And that's when everybody started talking about the virus. And here we are walking in Midtown Manhattan, and everybody's out in the streets, and we're going to the Chinese restaurants, and nobody's thinking that. So I may already have had it and have gotten
not
over
even
it
known
and
it.
not even know it. Do you ever think that, Dan? Like when in the morning you wake up and you say, "Yeah, I feel a little warm today." We're not hypochondriac. I'm sure Keith, our good friend Keith Olbermann, has thought many times that he had the coronavirus.
My wife asks me every day, "How do you feel?" Because I went through, some health issues, and my immune system was totally compromised a year ago. And I'm talking to my doctor, and my doctor said, you can't get this. I go, "Oh, so I'm immune from it?" She goes, "No, you can't get this." And I went, "Oh," and she goes, "Yes, it could be fatal for you." And I go, "Okay." So, my wife says, "What did the doctor say?" And I said, "Well, she said, I can't get this." And she goes, "How is it you can't get it, but all of us can?" I go, No, I can't get this. And she goes, "Or?" And I go, ... She goes, "Okay, then we'll make sure you don't get this." My son is in Singapore. He leaves after the Super Bowl, goes to Singapore. He's over there, and so we don't, all of a sudden everything, just all hell breaks loose. There's quarantines, shutting things down. You can't fly out. And so we don't know what's going on. So now all of a sudden I go, you take inventory, and I got 4 kids. So I got 1 in Ohio, 1 in L.A., 1 in Vermont, 1 in Singapore. And I'm going, how do I get everybody home and safe? But then they can't come home because I can't be around them. And I went to Vermont with the dog and quarantined up there for 9 days and came back and basically just, you roll the dice and say, I hope everybody's safe. And so far, so good. My son comes back from Singapore tomorrow morning, and then we can't even hug him. We're going to leave a car at the airport at Newark. He gets off the plane with his fiance. They're going to take the car up to Vermont. All we can do is wave to him. Like, it's just crazy trying to figure this stuff out. That's way too mushe information that I just gave you.
No. I mean, a lot of people can relate to that, Dan, because we have friends. Our buddy Joe Krause here, he had his daughter, and he had to go she had to come back, and then he did the same thing. She had to fly back from college, and then they had to get a car to pick her up, and then
No, she came back from Europe.
From Europe, but I mean, but she was down. She went down to Cape May, New Jersey,
Right,
right?
he left the car in D.C. for her, stocked with some food, and then she went to their second house out in Cape May to quarantine.
A lot of people are doing it. I mean, especially when my kids are grown. I mean, I'm a granddad, and I haven't even been able to see my new grandson who was born in January because he's down in Maryland, and so we can do FaceTime now. I don't do the Zoom thing though.
House party? You do that?
No, I saw a house party though. Oh, House Bunny. That's what Dan was in. He was in the House Bunny.
I was in House Bunny. By the way, Anna Faris was wonderful. I didn't really know her, and she obviously had no idea who I was. And so I was the police officer in there, and my scene has to do with a sexual act, or she thinks I'm asking for a sexual act, and Sandler thought it was really funny, to put me in a compromising position. But I just remember I said to Sandler, I said, this Anna Faris, she's really funny, really talented. And all of a sudden, Anna Faris becomes, this big star. And I go back to, oh, my God, my scene with her was embarrassing. But she was a champ. She was great.
What did your family say when they saw that scene, Dan?
Oh, boy. Well, I tell them it's acting. I always say it's just acting. Sandler gives me a scene, and I do the scene. That's what great actors do. I get immersed in my role. And then I did a scene in Blended with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, and Sandler thinks it's funny because I got a girlfriend or I'm married, and it's the woman from the Goldbergs, Wendy Kobe McClendon or something like that. Sandler goes, Danny, why don't you kiss her during the scene? Now, it's not in the script. I don't even know. I'm just meeting her on the set. We're going through rehearsal. My daughter is working on the movie set and is walking by when Sandler says, hey, Danny, why don't you kiss her? So we do the scene, and at the very end of the scene, I'm kissing a woman I don't even know. And then we get done with the scene, and my daughter goes, are you going to tell Mom? And I go, I said, yes, honey, it's in the scene. Because I know, but you're kissing another woman. I go, I know, but it's acting. She goes, okay, you tell that to Mom. And I went, okay. So, yeah, I've had a couple of those moments with Sandler where, it's a little bit awkward, but making out with somebody on camera, it's a great to do it. And, consider myself pretty fortunate.
This is the price you have to pay.
Yes.
Are you now? Because I heard you with Adam last week, and obviously you guys are real tight. Are you contractually obligated to be in every Adam Sandler film ever recorded or ever made?
Yes.
No, I just check. People ask me that all the time.
Well, he always writes the role. I don't ask for it. He'll just say, Danny, got a role for you. And I go, all right, send me the script. And I just shot one on the Cape this last summer where I play a school principal. And you go in for one day, you spend about 12 or 14 hours shooting it, and then I'm done. I did the movie with Jennifer Aniston and Nicole Kidman when we went to Hawaii, where I play the nightclub owner. And that was a week where we were out there. But usually they're just one-off, 1 or 2 days at the most. But Sandler always, he'll just say, Danny, got a good role for you. Got a good role for you. So as long as he keeps going, I think I've been in 17 of his movies. So
wow.
Now, here's the question, though. When I die at the Academy Awards, do I get up there in memory of? Do I make it on the big screen when they look back on all the actors and actresses who have passed away that past year?
The only way that would happen, I think, Dan, is that if Adam Sandler actually won an Academy Award, which many people thought he got screwed out of one.
This Uncut Gems, he might get one.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. They stiffed him. He didn't get an Academy Award. They already had
him. He didn't get nominated.
Exactly. That's the outrage.
Oh,
no,
that's outrageous.
Then you missed the Ricky Gervais Academy Awards where he ripped everybody, and Adam Sandler was not even nominated for Uncut Gems, which many people think is his greatest movie ever.
Well, he deserved to be nominated.
Next to, of course, the golf movie.
Well, yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, the greatest. And by the way, the greatest scene ever. Is it not? Bob Barker?
Yeah. Yeah. But
The Price is
Barker-
Wrong, bitch. I mean, has there ever been a better line uttered by anyone in cinematic history?
But Bob Barker, Sandler told me, Barker was not going to lose. He couldn't lose in that scene. He wouldn't allow it to be written where he lost that fight with Sandler. And like he was really competitive, and Sandler said surprisingly athletic, but he wanted to make sure that he won because he would not lose a fight to Sandler, to Happy Gilmore.
And it was the greatest. It's an unbelievable
Classic.
scene. Unbelievable scene.
I know.
So now, so you're going to chill for the weekend, stay inside, right? Now, because we had a lot of social distancing and stay-at-home orders defied in round 1 of the NFL draft. I mean, there were a lot of house parties going on there, and I'm surprised no one was sent in to arrest those people.
Well, I thought that Tonga Bailoas, it seemed like they were multiplying. When I was watching, they were like, there was more than 6, and it looked like there were about 9 or 10 people. The Mike Vrabel situation, I have no idea what that was.
We're all still trying to figure it out.
But I thought it was a scene out of Breaking Bad, or it could have been if Tarantino had produced that. You had somebody on the toilet in the background.
Now, did you wait? Because I said the same. Everybody says the same thing. I can't imagine. I think it's just a guy with shorts on, sitting on his phone in an adjoining room.
And in a reflection.
How could you have somebody sitting on a toilet in a room full of children where he's taking a dump, so to speak?
Tony, don't ruin it.
Okay.
Don't ruin it.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a story.
And by the way, is there any doubt Cliff Kingsbury's Scottsdale Diggs stole the show?
I wish he was still dating Holly Saunders because that was right out of Billions. And he's a baller.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If I would have said, hey, what does this guy do for a living? If you just saw that picture, you'd probably go, drugs. He looked like he was some drug czar
Exactly.
with a house like that. I mean, that was right out of Blow. I mean, it was,
all that was missing was the glass table with the dusting.
And Johnny Depp doing lines.
Johnny Depp doing lines right there on his knees.
Oh, my God. That's quite a... And then you had Belichick looking like a 6th grade teacher grading papers on his table, and he's just there by himself. It was good. It was entertaining. I applaud ESPN and the NFL for pulling that off.
I agree. I thought Trey Wingo did a great job. I mean, that was hard to pull off. But there is one picture that somebody posted that was faked, and that was the Arizona Cardinal pick.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the picture that somebody put on there?
Yeah.
Did you do that, Dan? Because I didn't even know who that guy was. And it's surprising that I don't know that guy because I know a lot of people in the industry. But that wasn't really there last night, right?
I don't think so.
But you saw it, though. It's amazing how everybody has seen the doctored picture of Roger Goodell with the Arizona Cardinals 12. And how come they couldn't find 12 people for the Los Angeles Chargers to fill up the 12 boxes on the screen?
Attendance is down for Charger games, Tony. You know that.
They should have just put some Steeler fans in there, like when the Steelers played out there.
The picture of Ben Roethlisberger when he had the big beard. Remember that one recently? Where he looked like the Cro-Magnon man? He looked like he was in what's the scene in the movie where that's one of the memes where he always looks and smiles? The actor that got the beard. What's the one? It's a popular meme where he like nods his head, and I can't think of the movie now. That's what happens when you get old, man.
That would have been a great payoff, son.
I know. It wasn't really a joke. It was just trying to think of the people.
Really, really well done.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
Maybe Miss Robin could help you out with
I
that.
don't know. Well, Harry's not helping me at all.
I'm not helping.
Harry's ready to
I know
drink.
When you said you wanted to do this show, you said, basically, I'm doing it solo. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, and Tony goes, well, I can't count on my partner. And
No, that's not true. Harry's one of my greatest partners.
I know you said great friends, but, kind of tough as a co-anchor.
Oh, wow.
Dan Patrick, ladies and gentlemen.
I had beers with Dan one time.
That's right. He said he has a Dan Patrick. Do you remember being in a swimming pool?
No, he doesn't remember.
With Harry Mays in 1991. Where were you, Harry?
We were at the Cable Ace Awards at the Lowe's Anatole Hotel in Dallas. And I met you in the pool, and I recognized who you were.
Was it love at first sight?
It
Did
was.
you
It
kiss?
was. And I was stalking him, and we drank a couple of beers, and we talked about the, sports and the big show. And I told him he was so much better than Olbermann. And then we arranged to go out that night after the awards ceremony, and he blew me off.
No.
Yep.
Well, you mean you didn't want to spend more time with some stalker dude he met in a pool at the Cable Ace Awards?
It was so uncomfortable where a guy comes up and he's in his bathing suit and he gets close to you and he starts talking so I would back up and I'd hit the edge of the pool and I'd go, oh my God, I'm in trouble.
Right, he couldn't go anywhere. I cornered him.
And then you zeroed in and then I thought, golly, this is going to be bad. And you were very nice, but I didn't blow you off. I don't think I won the award that night, therefore I wasn't in a cheery mood.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it was.
That's what it was.
You like Aaron Rodgers after the Green Bay Packers drafted a quarterback last night in the first round.
You're like Jordan Love.
Right.
You just here you come. I didn't ask for you, and you won't leave, and I'm upset about it. That's probably a good analogy.
But I had board shorts on. I didn't have a banana hammock. It was board shorts.
Okay.
So, I know.
That was the 90s.
Yeah, I know.
That was big in the 90s.
I got it. Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick giving us the blessing. Dan, it's an honor to be on the Dan Patrick channel on SiriusXM 211. I got hired when there was no sports. So what does that tell you about my career? I get a job. Everybody's losing their jobs, and I get a job exactly at the point where there's zero sports to talk about.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't know if you've ever really truly been about sports. You're about entertainment, and there's a big difference in that. That you can find entertainment in a lot of different things, not just sports.
Is that good?
That's a compliment, I think.
Yes.
No. Yes.
I couldn't get a job at ESPN if I didn't know sports. You had to go into a room with John Walsh and tell you who the third line was of the Vancouver Canucks before they would hire you.
That is not true, because the entertaining part of that is you telling the story that you were asked to tell the third line for the Vancouver Canucks. You weren't asked to break down.
Yes, I was, and I actually knew who the third line was for the Vancouver Canucks back in the 90s.
Was Pavel Bure still there?
Yes, he was. Young in his career. Come on, man. You're going to question my hockey knowledge?
No, I'm not. We got off to a bad start, I think. No, we did. No, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about, 25 years ago we got off to a bad start. Not today. We're good.
Oh, we're good.
This is a normal conversation for you and me.
Well, Dan, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it, and great to be on. Me, you, and Rich Eisen. The old gang is back together again, sort of.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that you found some peace there and everything's good. And I hope this lasts a long time, as long as you want it to go, Tone.
Well, thank you, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. I'd say we're all in this together, but that's a bunch of crap. Thanks, Dan. See you, bro.
Thank you, guys.
See you,
Bye.
man. Thanks, Dan.
All
Dan
right.
Patrick. We're coming back and wrap up the week next. Stick around.
Tony Bruno.
That was funny.
That was hysterical. Yeah, I know you.
That was funny.
You made me feel uncomfortable, Harry.
Kept backing up, and all of a
Kept
sudden,
backing up.
I'm up against the edge of the pool.
That was
pretty
awesome.
funny.
What's that?
It's going to be a short segment.
Yeah, I know that, but I figured we could take it. We needed to take the distance. You know what I'm saying?
That was awesome.
And you received the blessing.
Yep. Well, I think he received technically the blessing when Dan said, "Okay, yeah, he can be on the station."
They narrowed it down to me or Dino Costa, I think.
Is that right?
No, I'm kidding.
Is he on anywhere?
I don't know. I think he's doing his own thing.
Okay.
Like a
Dino?
lot of people do when they're because there's so many ways to stay on and do podcasts and
right.
This was in Dallas. This photograph
For
by
the
way,
Super Bowl?
That was in Dallas Super Bowl. Yeah, I was still redhead.
because
back
that's
then.
when NBC had the game that year, and then Dan and Keith were there.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
they reunited Dan and Keith to do the
Right.
Sunday night NBC show.
What's your robe say?
What's that?
Sopranos.
Sopranos. I saw the kid last. I didn't buy this. My producer in L.A. bought it for me because he was a big Sopranos fan and thought because I was Italian that I would like it. I don't hate it. And I have worn this at several occasions, like when I would go out to my jacuzzi in Venice, in my backyard. I put this on. You know.
This was one of my favorite photographs.
Which
behind
one?
you.
You know who that is, don't you? You know who that is?
I find him so yummy. That's Hugh Jackman.
Oh. Not a fan.
Wolverine.
Oh, he's an amazingly talented guy, though.
He can sing. Man. He's a great actor.
And he's a great guy. He's really a nice guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something right now?
Because you probably are.
Well, yeah, but for the show.
That was a good way to bring him in with the.
Yes.
Now you can get me your last T-shirt, the last Tampa Bay T-shirt.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. The timing was excellent for that.
Yeah.
He pulled early. He could have held. I would have held that thing right
Yeah.
at midnight on the 27th. He had a week to go.
Well, I guess he didn't want to piss them off too much.
I don't know. I may have had the attorney challenge that freaking.
Yeah, seriously. Lee in Seattle, I love the quote-unquote feud between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They are so funny together. And they've done a lot of great stuff. They've raised money for tons of different things because of that.
He always goofs on Wolverine, his character Wolverine.
Oh, really?
Jackman played Wolverine. And
yeah, I know he played that.
And then he, of course, was Deadpool, and he would make fun of him in the
Tucker
Deadpool
4748. All right, Dad's gone. Break out the booze.
I love Deadpool.
Let's break out the booze. And have
is it going to become a tradition like any other? Should I?
I need ice.
I'll go get the ice, baby.
It's upstairs in the freezer.
Wash the hands.
Robin, wash your hands.
Wash the hands.
I've got the cups here.
Welcome back to the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays on SiriusXM 211.
All right, it is the official end of the week celebration. Busting out the cups. The vodka's coming. I had to send Robin upstairs to get the ice.
Yeah, she's got to wash the hands first, though, Stone.
My hands are clean. I have some antiseptic here, but I'm clean.
You got Purell down here?
I did. Give me a Purell.
Is Purell an official sponsor?
No, but they should be. We're going to have Lysol, but I've been drinking that earlier today.
Well, right, yeah.
And then I had some...
and some UV light.
I had some UV. We have UV lights coming in. Mm-hmm. I prefer to go outside, though, and get the actual real UV rays, as long as you put sunscreen on.
Vitamin D, man.
I love vitamin D. I take vitamin D and K in one pill. You know, they have it. They work well together. Did you know that, Harry? Sort of like this show. We all work well together. But anyway, it's been a fun week.
Can't believe you threw me under the bus to Dan.
How did I throw you under the bus?
Well, he explained the story.
Well, what did you think? He was really wanted to hang out with you when you were in the swimming pool with him?
About me as a sidekick.
What did I say?
You didn't.
Clorox is, we were joking about, everybody's ripping the president, whatever you want to do, rip him every day, about Lysol and Clorox. You can't find Lysol or Clorox. How's anybody going to inject it? Especially here in Philly, where you can get any kind of drug you want, but you can't find Lysol anywhere. We were in a store yesterday. No Lysol, no Clorox, no wipes. Now there's toilet papers back.
Right.
And paper towels. So they got that restocked.
They upped the production, I think,
Absolutely.
in the supply chain.
Exactly. That's good supply chain knowledge, Harry.
Yeah, but didn't you had a couple of containers of those Lysol wipes, right?
I buy them by the 5-pack,
the
Clorox wipes.
Those are good.
No, those are great to have. I have them in my car.
Yeah, you wipe down the steering wheel and the gear shift and all that stuff.
Sometimes, you have a little accident, you got to clean up in the car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You follow me now?
Following you.
Because here's what I'll say, Harry.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
All right.
Oh, no.
Who will the first pick be in the second round of the draft tonight, Harry Mays? I call upon you a man who understands the game and has done many mock drafts in his career?
I don't know. I put my computer in the bag already, so I don't really.
Wait a minute. You already. Did you hit the elevator button? That's one of the jokes in radio. You know, if you worked on like the third floor of a building.
Yeah.
And, you know, guys, especially in music radio, the DJ would play his last song, and then the other guy, the replacement, would be in, and they'd say, hold the elevator, and the guy would already be in his car before his show actually ended.
Right.
You can't do that on this show,
No,
Harry.
no, I know.
We talk here. We don't have anybody we don't have somebody playing the Inagata Davida, the 15-minute version, or Light My Fire by the Doors.
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven, or the song we played the other day for 420.
Yeah, what was that song called?
Joe's a big 420.
Dope Smoker. Dope Smoker.
By
Sleep.
By Sleep.
And it's like 60-some minutes long,
Yeah,
right?
it's over
One
an hour.
continuous song.
Yeah.
Not the Chainsmokers, though.
I tell you, Kaneen really, he comes over here ready to go.
Yes, he did. Pat Kaneen is here. He's got his draft day hat on.
You know, he shows up for happy hour.
Well, he's smart. What do you think he's going to show up for? The beginning of the show and we're running wires? No, he actually helped put this whole thing together.
I know.
That man strung everything in here. Now he's strung up, as you could tell. Yeah, let's get the now. Harry,
I thought that went well with Dan, though. That was funny stuff.
I love Dan. Dan and I go back to 1992. That's where I met him for the first time. Actually, I met him before that. When he was at CNN.
Oh, that's right.
He was doing
that's
sports
right.
at CNN is when I met him. And then we reunited, of course, at ESPN.
Now, was he doing the CNN or was he doing CNN's headline news? Remember they had that other division?
No, he was part of CNN Sports, not the old...
Like Nick Charles was there.
And you had Jerome Jerenovich.
Right.
Yeah. And then you had, of course, my favorite guy.
Jim Huber
Jim
was
Huber,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
The late Jim Huber.
I know.
But then the other
Nick
guy...
Charles, I think, is passed, too.
I don't know if he is.
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
But the one guy, the other guy was, who became famous for it, and he got a lot of jobs in sports talk.
Vince Cellini?
No. Vince Cellini, I think, is working at the Golf Channel for a while after that.
Lucky guy.
No, the guy who did just headline sports, and he wasn't on camera most of the time.
It was just
Van Earl Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Van
right.
Earl. He was the guy who would come up with nicknames like Detroit.
Yeah, he was good.
And he did all of these famous, because remember, he's doing a 2-minute sports update.
Yeah, he was
so
good.
He really tried to spice it up. I'm Van Earl, and he was from Detroit, and I got to work with him out in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to go with some
No,
Harry doesn't.
No.
Do you have did you get the eyedropper for Harry for his cranberry?
I'm not even
Now,
going to waste my time.
Joe Krause, you're not having a cocktail? Joe C. doesn't drink? This is a really cheap crowd to entertain here. I like that.
Now, what is Robin doing? We got to watch her intake.
Robin's going
here.
with the Robin's going cranberry first. We got I need a little pineapple in there, even though there's too many carbs in there. What's the carb quotient on that?
Well, you're just taking a little
That's
drop
it.
of
Boom.
Yeah,
that's good.
Nothing.
That's good.
But Dan indicated that you and he got off on a bad start. Is that true?
No.
Back in the day?
When did we get off on a bad start?
I don't know. He brought it up. Were you not listening?
I think he was joking.
Oh, okay.
We were working together at ESPN Radio.
He's in 17 Sandler flicks.
Yeah. I didn't know Adam Sandler had 17 flicks.
Oh, he's got tons.
Imagine the checks that he gets for
I know.
residuals. I get residual checks for one crappy movie, and I was barely in it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we toast all of you, everybody, to another great week. We want to thank all the folks who listen in, all the new listeners on SiriusXM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel, all of our regular people who have been with us now for over a year on twitch.tv/TonyBrunoShow. We keep an eye on them every single year, every single day. And yes, Van Earl Wright, by the way, is the guy that replaced me at Fox Sports Radio.
Really?
When they decided that they needed to go in a different direction, not because I wasn't performing, but because they wanted me to take a pay cut.
Right.
They said, we got a guy. We got a guy that can replace you.
Now, is that his real name or is that a stage name? It's a good name.
It's a
Van
great
Earl
name.
Wright, yeah.
Van Earl Wright. You have to have three names.
It doesn't sound like a radio name, though.
No, it sounds like a serial killer. Normally, every time there's a serial killer, they always have three names.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yes, why is that?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have three names. But
Although-
every single serial killer has three names, and they always mention all three names when
There
they talk
was
about
a
it.
serial killer named Tony Bruno, though.
That's
that
right.
I got a Google alert one time that they were on the lookout for him.
No
I had to look
relation,
him up.
brother.
I had
No
to look him
relation.
up just to make sure.
No relation. We want to thank everybody. We want to thank Ron Jaworski, Dan Patrick, all the people who called in all week. Great lineup of guests, and we appreciate you, all the great listeners and callers. The great Joe Krause, the great Joe C. at the wheels of steels on the ones and twos, the great Pat Kaneen, wearing a draft day hat. Why? I have no idea.
He got it for free.
Is that from the movie? Was that from the movie
Yeah,
premiere?
from the movie Draft Day.
I know it's the movie. I figured he didn't go out and buy a
He
hat.
probably did a remote somewhere.
Exactly.
It was probably a giveaway.
Miss Robin, Harry Mays, Tony Bruno. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the draft. We'll see you back here on Monday. Stay safe, stay inside, and stay quiet, please.
Okay, so I've had one sip of my drink. Miss Robin will get wasted in 3,
2,
1.
Let's start the clock. Let's put
Let's
10
do it.
seconds on the clock.
Boom. All right, folks. Everybody on Twitch, have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. If you are able to get outside, enjoy some sunshine. As long as you stay away from, at least 6 feet from other people. And we will see you all back here on Monday for another fantastic week of the Tony Bruno Show with Harry Mays. Arrivederci.
Unbelievable. So I called them the Sun Twins.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you ever work with Joe C. guys?
Joe C. probably did it remotely.
We did Joe Stasak and Matt Lombardo remotes, right?
Yeah.
Say goodbye, Tony Bruno.